What are you doing, pajamas? Oh.
Alright, let's start it now. Let's get the run done with. Yeah. See, I told you, just name it up hard. In-game time on it. Oh wait, shit, I need to do something. Sorry.
Alright everybody, we are back with Mega Man Battle Network 6 by Plum.
Oh, one thing I was wondering, I mash really, really loudly. Can you check this? Is there something you can do about that, or is that fine?
It's fine. No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. All right, we're chilling. Okay.
Hi. Yeah.
Audio check 1, 2, 3. This is Mega Man Battle Network 6. Here.
Audio check 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
Can't hear anything. Oh,
There,
okay.
yeah,
Are you
we're-
okay?
we're chilling now.
We're fine.
Okay.
We're good.
All right.
You want to recall before or after?
We can just roll call as soon as I start the run, since just go through it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
All right, so are we all set, ready to go?
I believe so.
Okay, I'll give a countdown on the count of go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so yeah. Wow, thanks for the applause. I'm already doing great.
It's Battle Network. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to get a roll call real quick for anyone in chat who's curious, I am running the game. I'm Plum.
I'm Oro.
I'm Charge42. Helped with the routing, and I'm a fellow runner and racer with Paul.
I am fellow Team BM member, Heroic Spirit Gamer. Usually go by Gamer.
Yeah, so welcome to Battle Network 6. This is one of the Mega Man spin-off series. If you're not familiar with the game, it's basically an action RPG. The battles are all going to be taking place on a grid-based combat system in real time, so it's not at all like Command Mission if you're familiar with that Mega Man RPG. So I guess Tara can explain a bit more of what's going on here.
Yeah, I like to describe it as the least Mega Man game. But the thing that's really nice about this series is the combat system. It's unique. There's nothing you can really compare it to. You can see Plum is selecting two, we call them battle chips, And those are sort of your special attacks that you can use in combat, which takes place on this grid. You can move on the red panels, the enemies move on the blue ones. We got 2 Matars, and he's just going to wait for them to move and then hit them with 2 cannons. So the combat takes place in real time, but as you wait for the custom gauge to fill, so you can send additional chips. The tutorial, for better or worse, is forced upon you for each of these games, and it's actually pretty well done. It's a good introduction for how the different things work. You can see in the previous fight, he took 2 cannons. You can take chips of the same type, or you can take chips of the same code. Every battle chip has a code, A through Z. There's also Star, which is really nice. Like, that's my favorite. And then here he's just going to use, of course, you've got the Mega Buster, and you can use that to finish off the enemy. You can charge it. It's pretty weak in the start, but once we get the Navi-Cust and some upgrades, it'll be better. Something in the 4th, 5th, and 6th game is you have an emotion state, and whenever you get a counter hit, you enter full synchro, which makes your next chip do double damage. So like Vulcan, instead of doing 30, we'll do 60 here, and then you can use the Vulcan for the double kill, and the 2 air shots to finish off the 3rd Matar. So that's sort of how combat works.
Yeah, Terra just made it sound quite complex, but it's actually pretty simple. It's mainly just going to revolve around at the beginning, drawing chips and finding the most efficient way to counter the enemies to get the double damage chips, which I want to just quickly clear them out without needing to go into the custom menu again, which is basically the way this game handles turns. So when that custom gauge on the top is filling up, only once it's full can I select chips again. Until then, I'm just stuck with my Buster.
Yes. And now we're going on to the internet. So this is in a world sort of parallel to our own. It's instead of investing and researching in robotics, it was focused on networks. So they have a lot of technology. Everyone has this advanced device called a personal terminal, and Mega Man and the other characters are net navies. Now, this first fight's actually important, and it's pretty good. We got 2 Matars. We regged Crackshot, which basically means we can start all of the future fights with 1 chip, because you saw when Plum was editing his folder and we got Reflector A, so that's really good. You need to get 1 Reflector to open this door in order to advance to the next area. But when Plum was editing the folder, you can see we've got like basically 30 battleships, and you can think of that as like your deck. And at the start of each fight, you're dealt 5 at random. However, if you reg 1, you can start with it. And in Battle Network 6, they introduced a chip called Crackshot, which is really good. I got this earlier. This is a really bad encounter, but we'll see what we can do with it. Nice. So he's trying to get as many counter hits as he can. Counter hits improve your rank. Ideally, we'll get like rank 10 or S, and the thing in the back was a green mystery data, so didn't get the. Oh, that was really bad.
Yeah,
RNG.
I got a little thrown off there because the Battle GMD, if you're only familiar with the earlier Battle Network games.
Second encounter too.
But yeah, if you're only familiar with the earlier Battle Network games, Battle Network 4 introduced. This is really bad. Battle Network 4 introduced a mechanic where basically those are considered like chests in other RPGs, and if you get through the battle without them taking damage, you'll get a bonus thing. And in the first area, you can get ridiculously powerful chips from them, but it's very, very unlikely.
Right. So that's something that doesn't happen too often. Got thrown off a little bit, but that's fine.
Yeah, because one of the chips, it saves a very, very large amount of time if you can get it, but it's kind of a trade-off if you actually want to go for it or not, because you will usually waste a fair amount of time actually trying to finish the battle while keeping the mystery data intact.
Now we're just setting up for the next scenario. So, Ghost, do you want to say anything?
Yes, we have a quick donation to read. Cool. Pull it up in 1 moment. We got $15 from X Dr. Hell X saying, "Good luck, Plum Tea. P.S. When's Boktai? OBOP."
Yo, thank you, Doc. And I'll be doing Lunar Nights eventually.
Nice. But yeah, Boktai is another series, and starting with Battle Network 4, there's been a bit of crossover between the two. So, actually, how was the donation incentive for the Boktai side quest?
It is at $205 out of $200, so it is being met.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was met quite some time ago,
yeah,
actually.
like a good 24 hours ago, actually, I think.
Perfect. Yeah, so then later on you'll see that. But so here's a new enemy. This is the old stove, and this is a pretty okay draw to work with. Nice. That was handled. They've got like just enough health that you can't take them out with a crack shot, so you sort of have to take advantage of full synchro there. Their movement's a little weird, especially when there's multiple, because they try and get in front of you and then do their 3-range flamethrower.
Yeah, one thing that should also be noted though is taking damage will remove full synchro. So if you do land a counter hit, you really want to try to avoid taking damage. Otherwise, you lose the double damage on your next chip, which is very bad. So that's why I actually intentionally took a hit from the first Hellburner, which put me into invincibility frames to counter the one that was approaching me with my sword. And then I could do the double damage on the 60 damage chip to take out the 80 HP virus.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage boosting that happens later on. But now, basically, the school has been hacked. It's been taken over by an evil Navi from the World 3 organization, which is the main antagonist run by Dr. Wily. And for whatever reason, all of the security bots here in the school are equipped with flamethrowers and are holding the students hostage. So Mega Man has to grab a bucket of water and disable them.
Unfortunately, that kid, even while robots are attacking the school, he just has the bucket of water on his head.
He's dedicated to his punishment.
Yeah, so we're basically about to enter what we call the first comp of the game, which is basically a dungeon. Each of these has a boss net navi that we'll need to fight, and like Tara just mentioned, this one's going to be Blast Man, and they all have a pretty unique gimmick to them, which, Tara, do you want to explain the gimmick to this first dungeon?
Yeah, well, once we get into it and can see it in action for sure. Once Plum gets past this Mr. Prog, which kind of tells you what to do, fortunately we can skip that cutscene, you're going to see some sort of particles start floating around, and they're like moving down left, and basically then the fireballs come. And if you're not standing behind one of those blocks, you're going to get lit on fire and take 10 damage. They can't kill you, and for the most part, the viruses in this area are pretty easy to dodge, so there's not any real danger in that respect.
Yeah, one thing to also be aware of, though, that you won't really see until the next section of this comp, but talking to these Mr. Progs will actually reset the fire. So if I have good movement in the next set of, in the next area, I can actually skip these flame cycles, which saves a bit of time since Mega Man doesn't have to do that fire dance.
Correct. Fire skip. Oh, this is a pretty good encounter to start with. Nice. Get fire hit D. D's a bit of a weird code. I guess actually that works well with the Vulcans. So again, every battle chip has a code, and you can take ones of the same code. So the fewer codes you have in your folder, the better it flows, and the more chips you can take, and the faster you can deal damage and stuff. And that's it for the first area. We'll transition into the second, but then plot stuff happens. Mega Man gets lit on fire, and we got to do a little stuff in the real world. Mix Navi helps activate the fire suppression system, which I don't know why no one else does. Freeze Mega Man and we can continue on.
Yeah, because unfortunately the adults in this world aren't going to do much, so we have to rely on a 10-year-old kid and his little computer program to take care of everything.
It's a running theme in the Battle Network games.
Yeah, so like coming up here, this prog I'm going to talk to, I'm going to start a fire cycle going to him, and if my movement is good to him, bam, skip the fire cycle because it resets after I skip the cutscene with the prog.
Nice. Yeah, those fire skips are pretty cool. There's only a couple that we can get, 2, and then there's more later. This is another reasonable fight.
I need him to come to the front row,
Yeah.
and there we go.
All good.
Yeah, those fire hits. Oh, Hellburner is a very, very useful chip. But basically the old stoves, they try to attack you only when you're in their attack radius, which is the 3-panel row in front of him. So that's why I kind of...
Nice fire skip.
Yep. So that's why I kind of like baited him back into the front row by moving there.
Yeah, otherwise you would have attacked in the middle and the sword wouldn't have been effective.
Yep, and I also had to be very careful about that because taking damage, it can do another thing. You sort of get staggered, and if you're trying to use a chip when you get staggered... can you explain that, Tara?
Yeah, when you try to use a battle chip, there's a startup time as well as an end-up time, and if you get hit while you're using a chip, like cannon, you have to draw it up. Some are faster than others. Airshot's fairly instant, but most can be interrupted, so if you get hit while you're using a battle chip, that gets canceled out. Likewise, after you use a battle chip, there's a period where you can't move or use a successive battle chip. That comes up in a few places.
Yep.
So this is the first boss. Plum did a folder edit to take out some of the chips we don't want, the recovs, and then put in a few chips that we picked up, the Fireburn and fire hit, and all that other stuff. And this is the first boss, Blast Man. He's going to be focusing on trying to get counter hits. So Blast Man moves 4 times and then starts to attack. And so, like any other Mega Man game, it's all about recognizing the boss's pattern and taking advantage of that. Nice. So this is a pretty good fight so far. Most of the folder that we have is like swords. Unfortunately, he doesn't like to come to the front, and it's really hard to get him to do so.
I'm just going to play it safe, where the swords do 80 damage and could immediately finish him up. I'm just going to play it safe, counter with that Vulcan, and then get the second. Because if he never moved into the front row, then I just would have wasted those chip draws I got.
Exactly, so that was well done. S rank for a sub 30 Navi fight, so that's pretty good. Yeah, sub 12.
Yeah,
Actually, good pace.
it was 11:39.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, and that's it for the first scenario, so kind of an introduction. And then you typically beat a boss, you end the day, and then the next scenario starts. Fairly standard formula.
Yep, there's going to be one little bit of extra stuff I need to take care of, though. So before the day ends, I will also be picking up some very, very nice, I guess, chests, what we call mystery data. That will give me a chip, and it will give me some more regmem. Do you want to explain regmem? You already explained regged chips, but...
Yeah, also, you picked up extra zenny, so buy 4 sneak runs.
Yes.
As opposed to the typical 3. Well, I guess first off, let's talk about their sub-chips, which are basically the consumable items of the game. Plum is buying 4 sneak runs. You can compare them to, like, repels in Pokemon or other games. And basically, once your HP is high enough, they will prevent random encounters. Did you use one?
Yep.
Okay. And... So now he's going to go pick up 2 of the blue mystery data. So there's blue and green mystery data. Green is random. I don't think there's ever a time we pick
Nope,
up
I
green
never
mystery
pick up
data.
GMDs.
But the blue ones, are you going to get copy damage now or later?
I'll just pick it up now.
Nice.
It doesn't really save any time or waste any time when you pick it up.
Cool.
Just one of the
And
times going through here.
He picked up key data, which was hidden. Mick basically locked the 3rd area and then hid the key. And in appreciation for helping not burn the school down, he tells you where the key data is, so that way you get to the next area. But the 2 blue mystery data we picked up was copy damage, which will be useful later, and reg up. Basically, you can reg a chip if you have each chip, in addition to having like the code and a bunch of other properties. It has a particular value of megabytes. Is basically its size. And depending on what your regular memory capacity is, you can reg different ones. And we start out regging Crackshot, which only takes 4, which is what you start with. But there's another chip we want to take that is, what, 12?
Yes, 12.
12. So we pick up a few extra reg ups so that we can reg that in the second portion of the game.
Yep, and the chip, did you explain copy damage?
No, but I mean, when it comes up, it'll
Okay.
be really relevant later. So it'll
Yes,
be pretty
it's
apparent
one
what
of the
it
best
does.
chips we pick up in Gregor.
Yeah, it alone saves a ton of time. But now, apparently Mick picked up a penguin, and did you know penguin eat fish?
I did not.
I did not. Yeah, the biology teacher told us that. So now we're gonna go get some fish so we can feed the penguin.
Yep, and one way, like how Tara just mentioned regmem, so we can reg more powerful chips that have a higher memory cost. The ones we pick up are all basically right in the route. It's just a very minor detour, so just jack right into here, and here's one of them. So it saves a significant amount of time, and you don't really waste too much time to pick them up.
Yeah, it's really nice how in a lot of games of Battle Network series, things work out just to where you get exactly enough of what you need right on the route that you don't have to take very many detours to pick up the useful stuff. And here we're gonna reg guard. So apparently it takes 7. I couldn't remember that number. I thought it was like 8. But we've been using. Have we used guard yet?
I have
Yeah,
not used guard
reflectors.
once.
So reflector's a cool chip. You'll see once we get into this next fight. The reason we reg it is because it can multi-hit, which is really nice. It brings up a shield in front of you, and you will deflect any attack that comes at you. It deflects one attack, but it's up for like a second or 2, which will block all of the attacks that come at you. So hopefully Prana moves down.
Yo, good draws. That
is
was,
really good draw.
yeah.
Nice. You move
Oh,
down.
and
Perfect. Okay.
Good
so-
stuff.
That was a good fight. Basically, he moved to the bottom, and the piranha will randomly move up or down. Since he moved down, we didn't have to wait for the piranha to move a second time. And he could pull up Reflector, which then protected him from all 3 of their attacks. Deflected the attack, which almost instantly damages the entire row, which killed the starfish in the back and dropped the piranha to 10 health, which he could finish with 1 charge shot, and gave him full synchro, which he could then use a double damage cannon to take out the pufferfish. So that was really good.
Yeah, so basically what Tara just said, how I mentioned earlier about how this game is all about finding the most efficient ways to kill enemies, getting that full synchro and making the most use out of every single chip draw you get is super important at the beginning of the run, because your folder is kind of a mess of codes right now, so you're not always going to draw exactly what you want.
Yeah, and chips are important in the first portion of the game. They're less relevant, but still useful in the later half, and you'll see why later. So now we got to go to the seaside area to look up more information, like maybe where a missing penguin might have come from. And we're going to use a sneak run so that we don't have to worry about encounters in the first 3 areas.
And I guess one other thing that wasn't really explained was how sneak runs tell you if you can get the sort of full repel effect. Basically, the way run rates work in this game, how the game decides if you can always run from an encounter or not, is based on your max HP value in a specific area. So this is the central area, and 120 HP is the max HP you need to be able to guarantee you get a 100% run rate from enemy encounters. And if you do have the 100% run rate from enemy encounters, Sneak Run will just completely eliminate everything, which is really, really nice.
Yep, that's exactly as he says. Otherwise, if you don't meet the HP requirement, it has no effect. It doesn't even reduce encounters.
I'm going to go ahead and read a quick donation here, if that's all right.
Yo, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, we got a donation from Professor 9 of $15 saying, Tayo, looks like the Boktai side quest is already met, so this goes to Runner's Choice.
Yo, thank you, Prof. 9.
Hey, Prof, could you look up the AI for Old Stove? Because it's really bugging me.
Right before we started this run, Tara and I were thinking this over in the practice room, racking our heads against it.
Oh, you skipped the cutscene.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bathroom splits. That's okay.
Do we have a Runner's Choice?
We'll discuss later. So this is all we wanted for this fight. We regged guard almost specifically for this, and it's over. Matars 2 and 3 have a defensive state whenever they're not actively attacking. And so we use, hopefully, a cannonator or crack shot to get full synchro off of the first Matar, and then wait for the other one to move to the bottom, and then double damage reflector for 120. And when it destroys the first one, the second one becomes immediately vulnerable, and you can take them both out in one
Yeah,
shot.
like how earlier you saw that yellow Mets, they're just always vulnerable. The higher level or other colored Mets, they are a bit different. They normally have their hard hats down and are invincible, but you can kill them in pretty creative ways, which get around that. And as far as Runner's Choice go, I would like to put any donations towards the Dragon storyline in Legend of Mana.
Cool. Basically, the repair navvy there wanted us to go collect his tool, which it's so funny how different things happen. It's like he's missing his tool and then just randomly calls LAN and says, "Hey, I'm missing my tool. Do you know where it is?"
There's some serious adventure game logic going on in here.
It's crazy. So Plum destroyed the green mystery data because it doesn't likely contain anything useful. And Reflector's nice because off of the piranhas, you're basically guaranteed a free counter hit. And you got Train Arrow, which is really good because it's a nice chip and it's actually required in order to open one of the doors. Like early on, we needed a Reflector to open up the first door. We'll need a Train Arrow to open up the second one.
Fortunately, though, that's the only other chip that is required.
Yeah.
So the rest of them,
Nice.
we're A-okay.
And since he's got full synchro going into this fight, I guess
Nice.
you didn't even need it, really. Yeah. All right. Well done. And another Reflector A, which is not bad. You think you'll put that in? Or?
Probably not. Reflectors sort of diminish in utility later on in the run.
Well,
That
fair
just sort of goes for chips in general and Battle Network 6 specifically.
Oh,
I'm not
for
going to go into depth about it now, but later on you will see exactly what I mean. I'm just bustering him because I need to draw a new chip to kill the piranha, and I would rather not lose full synchro just to... Ooh, I lost full synchro, but it's whatever.
It's the end of the
I
area.
still needed to draw another chip
Okay.
anyway to
I was
kill
hoping
the
you'd get long.
piranha.
But I think it's worth editing your folder before the aquarium because you can put in train arrow and guard.
Mhm.
So I'd recommend it.
Wait, what?
Back
Oh,
to
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm losing my train of thought.
Nah.
Yeah, in Battle Network, specifically, when you do enough runs of this game, everything just sort of blends together in the individual scenarios. So it's very, very easy to just get like one step ahead of yourself. I had just already assumed I had gone to the aquarium, which we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of like retracing your steps in the overworld. So if you're not completely focused, it's like, wait, do I go to bed now or after I visit the aquarium?
I just want to take a nice nap. It's 6 a.m., so...
I really like the music here in Seaside. It's one of my favorite areas.
Yeah, the Battle Network games all did amazing stuff with the GBA's, well, lack of sound chip.
I think that's one of the main things that Battle Network is notable for besides the combat is music.
Yeah, for sure. In typical Mega Man fashion.
Yeah, so now that we've seen the aquarium is closed, now Lan can take a well-deserved siesta.
And Mick can hang out with the penguin for another day, so I'm sure he's super excited about that.
And one other thing that I'm actually going to unlock right after this is going to be one of the most crucial elements in this run called the Navi Customizer. Terry, do you want to go a little over what that is?
Yeah, the Navi Customizer was introduced in the third game, and it became sort of a staple. It's basically the way that you can, well, customize Mega Man
Whoops.
in different ways to suit your playstyle. There's a lot of programs that you can get to do various effects. We're only going to start with a couple that are included in the tutorial, which is Undershirt, which basically means that if you were to take a fatal hit, instead you'll have 1 HP, as well as attack +1 and charge +1. So I said earlier, it's like the Buster's weak in the beginning, only doing 1 damage charge out of 10, but once you get a couple more of these Navi Customizer pieces, it becomes, well, better than any battleship, honestly. Looks like a dog. This is Navi Cusp Pictionary. What do you guys see?
I'd like to see a Tetris piece.
Yeah, pretty much actually.
Kind of looks like a strawberry sorbet.
Oh.
Dang, I'm getting hungry. It's 6 a.m. and I already want some dessert.
It's okay. Just encourage
This
them
is
to
not
go
the time for
faster.
ice cream.
This bathroom splits, right? Now it's done. We can go back to the aquarium and deliver the penguin.
Yep, and this aquarium is basically all the alternate areas except for the final one will introduce another one of the main dungeons or comps, as again we like to call them. This one has a pretty neat gimmick though. This is the most educational part of the game, so I like to refer to this as the edutainment bit.
Oh.
We get to learn all about marine biology, but unfortunately we text smash way too fast and we're playing on Japanese, so we just don't care. We don't want to learn. We want to go fast.
You can learn Japanese and learn about marine biology.
That's
fair.
overrated.
It's a 2-for-1. Yeah, you have to talk to everything except for the jellyfish for some reason. I guess they're not
Important enough.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a Dragon Quest thing where just like only real way to progress is just to talk to every NPC. But these aren't entirely useless though, because in the next comp, these will all come into play, every single one of them, in a pretty interesting way.
Indeed.
And I will also be picking up the final Regman, putting me at 12.
Someone just threw it away. Bland likes to pilfer through trash. You know, you never know what you'll find.
It's a pretty common theme actually. There's a lot of really good stuff in trash throughout all the Battle Network games. I don't get it.
Yeah. So we're leaving guard on Reg. It's not star-coded like Crackshot. However, a lot of the virus combos that are going to come up in the next area, you can fairly frequently get a multi-hit, which makes it slightly better. It's also A-code, which we have a reasonable number of A-codes.
Yeah, so this is a very, very new strat for me because it's very powerful. One of the old strats we used to do is Reg copy damage, which basically just does exactly what it says. You put it on an enemy, and then all damage that's dealt to other viruses is copied onto the one with copy damage. So that used to be the chip we Reg, but the problem with that one is by itself, it doesn't actually do anything, so you need to draw a decent chip to go with it. However, Reflector will solve two problems, actually. The first problem being that it by itself will be useful, And the second thing is a lot of the viruses that we will see in this next comp actually like to stack in front of one another. And with copy damage, it gets a little awkward because you put it on the thing directly in front of you. So if there's a virus hiding behind it, it kind of defeats the purpose of having copy damage. But since we saw earlier with guard, since it just pierces everything in the row, you can actually solve the problem of the viruses kind of hiding behind one another.
And I forget exactly how or why, but all of the sea creatures have been released, which was done by a disgruntled former employee, which is also a World 3 operative. And then they just like sort of go crazy and do stuff. There's piranhas in the fountain. There's sharks outside. Right there.
Yeah, not big.
People are just jumping around instead of escaping.
Yeah. Always looks so funny.
Yeah, so basically this is it. We're just getting a beach ball for a big seal so you can play with it and move out of the way of the door blocking the entrance to the comp. And then we'll be on with one of, actually, in my opinion, the most challenging part of the entire run.
I can agree with that. Yeah, we learned that the seal Fanny really likes his ball in one of the cutscenes that you didn't watch.
Yeah, I just took a while to guess that if we give the seal the ball, then we can progress.
Yeah.
It shows up on the little picture on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta love adventure game logic.
I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, so here we are. This is the entrance to the aquarium comps, which, do you want to explain the gimmick here, Terry, or should I?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So you can focus. But you have to talk to the first prog here, and he's basically explaining how this is going to work. And all of the tanks that Plum just passed each contain a program that represents one of the fish in the aquarium. So you're supposed to go through the area, find the missing programs. Each one will give you a hint to what it is, saying like, oh, I think I'm a this, or I know this about myself. And once you're given that information, you can actually push the L button to take control of land and go talk to all of the stuff we did previously. Oh, dude, nice fight.
Good lord.
So he drew copy damage that randomly, but had guard on reg, and just because of the positioning of the piranhas, like getting to hit multiple things is amazing. So here's where you get a prog, and once you pick up the first one, the game shows you where the multiple sharks are, and there's two types. The blue ones will chase you around sort of a fixed area. There are areas that the blue ones can't go into, and then the red ones follow a fixed path. And it's the same every time as long as you go the same way, so we shouldn't get caught. And then you take the prog back to the appropriate tank and put it in. If you put it in the wrong one, you get into a virus battle. But again,
Yeah, I'm a big cheater, though, and I just used game FAQs. I didn't want to learn about marine biology.
that works. So there's two Quakers in this fight, and Quakers are pretty nice. Pretty annoying because they move almost randomly, like there's a different sort of wait time between each thing. And then they try to jump in front of you, which if you're moving can get a little weird. And then they send out a really slow shockwave. It's like an enemy that's just slightly slow enough that it can throw off the tempo of the fight, and it's hard to get them to line up with other enemies to hit them with a reflector. But that worked out perfectly.
One of the other awkward things about Quakers is that as far as countering them goes, you're sort of left in an unfortunate position where you counter them like as they start to jump, but the main issue with that is if you're just a teensy bit late on your counter, that just means you're actually not doing any damage at all.
Yeah, in the previous game, Battle Network 5, you counter them as they land, which sort of makes sense. In this one, you counter them as they jump, which is a lot harder to sort of tell. And then a slight pause there to get around the red shark. But that's how the aquariums work. The first area is not too bad. Second and third one have more complicated shark patterns.
Yeah, more so than like the sharks. Those are just sort of like a byproduct of what this is. The actual enemy encounters you get, this is where the big issue of the aquarium comp lies. Most of the virus sort of groupings you can get are quite annoying.
This could be good. Hopefully he'll move in the middle. Nice. Perfect. And then double kill, and you get it in with full synchro. There's a 50% chance that, or 25% chance that he got Train Arrow A there, which A code again, folder flow, and then Train Arrow again, amazing chip. You'll see hopefully in the Dive Man or Blast Man fights.
Heat Man.
Yes. We already beat Blast Man. But that trick there, where you walk slightly, was to lure the blue shark down so that you could get past it and then wait for the red shark to move and then get to that tank. So that's a really nice setup. I like it.
I like how the Mr. Prog suddenly transform into a random fish when they actually enter
Yeah.
the tanks, if you pay attention.
Yes, they must represent. Another amazing
Really
fight.
good.
This aquarium is going quite swimmingly so far.
Yeah,
It
so like
is.
one thing you're seeing, how I mentioned earlier that the old strat involved regging copy damage, you can see the raw power copy damage had. It's just the issue with copy damage was that it didn't really do anything by itself, where even in the fights where I'm not drawing copy damage, I'm still able to do quite a lot of work with just the guard. But drawing them both together is devastating. Well, for the viruses, that is.
Devastatingly good.
One thing that I don't think we have mentioned, and you haven't been able to see it, is that copy damage only copies the first hit that happens to another virus, but you really can't tell so far because they've all been dead immediately.
I think it's just on a timer.
It's just on a timer.
For sure.
I thought it
This
was- I thought it
matters
was
a
on
lot.
the timer until the first hit.
Nope.
No?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the first. Maybe whatever. All right. It was
So-
like that in the earlier games, I think, at least.
Possibly. Copy damage was, I feel like, not as good in the previous
I do
games.
it in
was
one of
slower.
the later in Pavilion 4, I will utilize Electros with copy damage, and I need to get multiple procs off copy damage. So it's just on a timer.
So this area gets a little more complicated, and Plum's actually going to juke a couple of the sharks after this fight.
All right, so I'm hoping the Quaker. Oh.
All right, that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait a little bit so I can get the Quaker in addition to the,
Yeah. Nice.
and just clean this up with Hellburner. So pretty good lucky draw.
Yeah, I really like that chip. It's fast, it's 3 damage, and it cracks panels, which can be good for certain viruses. I guess one other nice thing is while you have Mr. Prog and while various other effects are happening on the screen, you can get into random encounters. Mechanically, your step counter is still increasing, but whenever you return the Mr. Prog, it reverts your step counter back to the last encounter check value. I just found that interesting.
Yeah, so basically this is the final section of the aquarium comps, which have gotten pretty swimmingly so far, so I'm really happy with these. And we're gonna be fighting Dive Man soon.
Dive Man is, I would say,
He's the most annoying boss in the game by
Yeah.
far.
like one of the hardest, just because of how things change in the next scenario.
Yeah, and it's not just hard, but there's also a good element of randomness that comes into play during his fight.
Ooh, this will work. Hopefully.
Yes.
They lined up.
Ah, dang.
Yeah, it's like our Buster
Oh.
is
oh,
still
well.
really weak right now. Try now?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
so you
then
get to
I'm
see
probably
Train
going to
Arrow.
get one more encounter in this comp, so I will wait to counter that guy instead of just immediately killing him. So I carry on full synchro for my next fight, and getting another train arrow is quite nice. So
Yeah, this is folder building in Battle Network 6 is a little interesting. They did something sort of unique. In the previous games, basically, you could have 4 copies of each chip, but in this one, they sort of categorize them based on the megabyte capacity. It's like the more megabytes, typically, the better the chip, so they kind of like scale it to where you can have like 5 of the low tier chips, 4 of the others. Train Arrow happens to be in the range that you can only have 3 in your folder.
yep, so 30 megabytes and higher, and train arrow unfortunately sits right at 30 megabytes, I believe.
So it's looking like we'll have 3, which is pretty good.
We got a couple of quick donations here, if that's all right.
Yep,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
for it.
All right, we got $20 from Mega Master X,
Oh, nice.
saying,
Thank you, Master.
says, greetings from the N1 competitive MMBN6 community. Rest in peace, bathroom splits. Sad face.
I just want to say, this Prague is a dirty liar. His hint is I can fly, and he's a penguin. I went to all of the other cases first before I got this one.
Taro, please.
Penguins can fly.
We got a $5 donation from Still Dr. Hell Kappa.
Oh, nice.
Excuse me, sir, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Otenko?
We'll see him later. So Plum's doing one final folder edit to put in the train hours and other things before fighting Dive Man, who is one of the worst bosses in the game because he's going to try, if possible, to go for counter hits. But the window for counter hitting Dive Man, it depends on him attacking, so you can only... Nice. And then that was a little early. The second thing is that he's always like, and there, since Dive Man chose not to attack and Plum went for the counter window, it just missed the chip. So it's kind of like a risk reward thing where you want to get double damage so that way your next attack is really good. Because if you can get full synchro and then like a train arrow or something, it's very effective. And then the missiles sort of are constantly spawning always in 2 of the rows. And if it coincides with the row that Dive Man's in, it makes it especially difficult to get a counter hit. So this fight is just really nasty. Because he's got a lot of health and our folder still isn't that good yet. Yeah, that's another where it's just unfortunate.
Counter hits have not been kind this time.
Well, it's not specifically the counter hits so much, it's just the fact that if Dive Man attacks are not as random. So you can
That's
basically choose
fair.
to do 2 things on Dive Man. You either hit early to guarantee that you get the damage from your chip off, but I like to play it a bit risky, so my main strat that I will do is I just basically go all out, and I try to risk the chips just in case I can actually get the counter, because if you get the counter and then draw your train arrow, you can pretty much one-shot Dive Man. So it's unfortunate that I didn't get it, but it's not the biggest deal in the world because there's going to be another boss coming up who is very, very similar to Dive Man in that I really, really want to counter him, and then I want to use a train arrow, which basically one-shots him. The only difference is the next boss, Heatman, is actually consistent to counter hit, unlike Dive Man, who's just... He sometimes decides he doesn't feel like attacking you. He just wants to be your friend, but you have to kill him anyway.
Yeah, that was Blackbeard. He was the mean guy. He was holding Mick hostage. But then the penguins come and save the day.
Yeah, fortunately he fended off a bunch of crocodiles with a broom, so...
Yeah, Mick's a true hero. Oh, that's the end of that day.
Yeah, so now we're actually going to start a quest that will give me the main thing, like how Tara mentioned earlier, that chips and folder editing are very different in Battle Network 6, especially in the Gregor version. That's because if you're familiar with Battle Network 4 and 5, how they have a thing called Soul Unison, where basically you can transform into specific navies. In Battle Network 6, they take this one tiny step further, and they introduce crosses, which, unlike Soul Unisons, where you need to sacrifice a chip of the specific element to transform into that navi, in Battle Network 6, just at any time in a battle, you can transform into the cross for the Link navi, and crosses they have devastating buster charge effects, and because of that, that means your buster is practically better than most chips you can get. Although this does bring a different element of strategy into Battle Network 6, where the other Battle Network games heavily revolve around routing for chips, coming up with certain strategies, knowing how, when you draw certain chips, how you can deal with enemies, sort of like what you saw me deal with in the Aquarium comp. The busters with the crosses basically just turn this into a flat-out action game, where it's more about knowing enemy patterns specifically, and just sort of reacting quickly to them, as opposed to coming up with various strategies based around what chips I'm drawing. So it's just a different style of gameplay, really, and I really enjoy it in 6. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy running this game the most.
And there are 6 crosses that you get in the game. We're getting the first one here. This is the only actually required one. And in order to get the cross, you basically talk to the operator of the Navi, and they say, here, use this Navi so you can see sort of how it works and get familiar with it. And each one is sort of a unique challenge that is tailored to that particular Navi or element. Since this is Heatman, we're fighting these kettles, which can only be damaged by fire. You basically need to heat the kettle up to 100 damage or 100 degrees Celsius, and that will trigger it to explode. So that's the challenge for these fights, and they're fixed, so the virus combinations are the same each time, and since we can reg Crackshot, and the nice thing about each of these Navis is they have a signature chip, which Heatman's is Heat Press, which we're going to start with in this fight. So you'll see Plum will jump 3 spaces forward and then attack him across, which is really nice, and then the Crackshot to get the counter hit. And we want to maintain full synchro throughout all these fights, so Heat Press will one-shot the kettles.
Yes, and one other thing that's very, very important is if you didn't notice, Heat Press, which is Heatman's signature chip, only does 70 fire damage, which means it is incredibly important to be able to chain full synchro from every single encounter.
Nice.
Yeah, Heatman's charged Buster Shot is very slow and doesn't deal much damage, which means if you miss one of your counter hits, you're kind of screwed because it'll be very awkward to actually manage to deal 100 fire damage to these kettles because they're constantly cooling down. So don't think of it as HP. Think of it as you need to do 100 damage within a certain time frame.
Yep. And now that the challenge is completed, the final test will actually be fighting him. So we're going to switch back and reg Crack Shot, and hopefully draw one of our 3 train arrows, so we'll see how the Heatman fight goes now. Well, at least you can clear out all of them, so that's good. Nice. Heatman moves a random number of times, but then the attack he does is fairly fixed.
There we go.
There's the train arrow. So now he's going to just stand in the back and wait. And the interesting thing about train arrow is that it summons arrows based on the distance between you and the enemy. So by standing in the back, you can do additional damage. So that train arrow was water element, so it did deal double damage to Heatman since he's fire, as well as the full synchro. So it was 4 times effectiveness at max range. So train arrow has very high damage potential. And now that you've gotten your first cross, this is the cross tutorial, and you can see that
Crap. Oh well.
at the start of the fight, you can push up and you can select any of your available crosses. And right now it's just Heat, but you cross over with Heatman and it changes your appearance as well as what your charge shot does, which in this case becomes a 3-range flamethrower. So it is range limited, but it pierces and it does a lot of damage, especially once we get a couple more upgrades.
Yeah, what you just saw though is one thing that actually is kind of tricky to deal with. It can happen in a lot of spots in the run, but sort of one of the just minor things about optimizing this game is actually releasing your charge shots as soon as possible, and it's very easy to accidentally release a little too early and just end up with a lemon right in the enemy's face, which doesn't do that much damage.
It's especially tough at the start because once we get these upgrades to make the Buster a lot better, your charge time's significantly faster. So it's just in this first fight with Heat Cross that your charge shot's so slow. So you're kind of working with 2 different timings. Oh yeah, and these are the 1 notes for the run. Basically starting with, I think...
It's a
number
long
generation's
sheet of random strings of numbers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the best
pretty
way to
much.
describe it.
Okay. Starting with the 3rd game, they introduced the number trader, or the lotto codes, and they basically hid these strings of numbers in a bunch of different places. Online, in magazines, and any sort of promotional stuff that Capcom put out, as well as a few that are in the game. They've mostly been found now, so we have access to them, and you can enter them at any time once it becomes available, which is right now. And Plum's going to be putting in 5. He's going to get a couple Navi Customizer pieces, as well as 2 very effective chips. The 2 chips are Element Trap and Mega Boomer, which you'll see what they do whenever we get them. And then the Navi Customizer pieces he's getting is basically additional health, as well as a Buster upgrade, which is probably the single best thing in the game. So we're going to take out the charge +1 and attack +1 because we don't really need it. You're going to put in the HP +400. And Battle Network 6 was the first one that basically lets you put programs off of the grid, which compiles, but it introduces a bug. And whenever you bug a program, depending on the type of program, it has different effects. If you bug an HP Plus program, you get HP drain. However, the HP drain is kind of minor, so compared to gaining 400 max health, the HP bug is almost inconsequential. And then he put in the Buster Plus, or the Buster Pack, which increased all of his Buster stats, as well as when you Heat Cross, it naturally increases them. So now the next time you see him use Heat Cross, it's going to be very different. Although that will be for a little bit, because we got some plot coming up.
Yeah, so what you're about to see is basically the namesake of the game, Cybeast Gregor, which is one of these main big, I guess, animal baddies that are just tearing up the cyber world, and Mega Man has to eat one of them and transform into him. It's kind of like Animorphs, I guess.
What a comparison.
Wow.
So there's Gregor. Unfortunately, he's really powerful, and Mega Man says, I can't do anything. So you go downstairs and you say, hey, Dad, how do I beat the Side Beast? And he says, you can't beat the Side Beast. So then we go beat the Side Beast.
Well, also he says, Lynn, you're not allowed to go on the internet. So you know what we do? We
go
immediately
on-
go on the internet.
Len is an obedient child.
Hey, well, we're saving the world. We can't take instructions from our dad who's just staring out the window all day.
Yeah, to be fair, Len is one of the few
Yeah,
people
so
that
here
actually
you go.
does anything.
Like,
Okay.
I guess, yeah, just
Oh.
see. One thing that's cool about this game is there are puzzles that I'm gonna show off. Anyone can become the task in this game. This guy is literally the human task. This is exactly what the task will do. It's pretty amazing, actually. Yeah, so basically, if you're wondering what's going on here, these are called soul weapons. Each of these viruses have a different HP value. So the yellow have 2 HP, blue have 3 HP, and the red have 1 HP.
No.
And dude, the human task is struggling. And if you hit them from behind, they will instantly die, and you just barely have enough weapons to clear them out most of the time, which means it's a constant balance of finding out the most efficient way to kill as many as possible, while also using as few soul weapons as possible by backstriking them.
Yeah, actually, these are puzzle segments, and I really like them, but some people certainly did not, which is fair.
Yeah, so-
Did you talk about the different health values and the colors?
Yep, I just did.
Okay.
So, yeah, shout out to Toro for becoming the human task.
Learned that like literally an hour ago. Or I guess
Anybody
more
can
now,
run
but-
BN6. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. But the soul weapon segments are pretty straightforward once you see them. There's this and one other. So, Ghost, if there's anything you want to say, we got a little bit of time.
All right. 1 second. We'll just do a quick plug for the Yeti. So the Yeti is offering 7 t-shirts based on RPG Limit Break, and $3 of each t-shirt will go directly to Nami. So you can check them out at theyeti.com. That's the YETEE.com/RPG Limit Break.
Unfortunately, there's no Battle Network shirts, but if you like Final Fantasy, you should give it a shot. Some cool FF shirts. Get a cool shirt, donate to a good cause.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, so the soul weapons, they'll progressively get more complex, where right now it's fairly straightforward for the most part. The amount of extra weapons you have gets progressively tighter and tighter, as well as you need to start using weapons in creative ways. Because you also don't want to be standing next to a virus who's still alive after you hit them, because you will take damage, but the damage isn't what matters. What actually matters is the taking damage animation is, well, that's the
Slow.
real pain right there.
Yeah. They hit you where it hurts in your timer.
Whoops. Yeah, so basically this is the end of it, at least for this little bit, because Mega Man is going to clear out these viruses and he's going to challenge the big baddie Gregory himself.
It's cool. Mega Man goes over there and it's just like, install Gregar.exe.
Unfortunately, Gregory was a bit too much for Mega Man to handle, so Mega Man's now dead. And we gotta go get some water. He needs to stay hydrated.
It's okay, we'll just use Heatman. He's better anyway.
Heatman.exe.
That's how you fix anything electricity related. Just pour water on it.
Yeah, we learned that in Battle Network 1.
Very true.
Yeah, so the Link Navis, instead of just being a thing you get crosses from, Link Navis are also playable multiple times later in the run during various side quests, such as this one.
Yeah, it's unique to sit. Well, I guess you sort of control other navies in Battle Network 5, though only in combat. 6 is the only one where you can actually like run around the net as the different navies, which is kind of nice. You get to play as different characters.
Yeah, so this is going to be the last soul weapon segment until the very end of the game. And this is just so Heatman can go get some water for Mega Man, like I said. But yeah, so
He's a little parched.
yeah. If we have any other donations and stuff, now is a great time to read them.
Alright, well, it doesn't look like we have any donations right now, but I just want to remind everyone a bit of what we are doing here. So we are RPG Limit Break. We're an annual charity marathon in Salt Lake City, Utah, centered around RPG speedruns. So speedrunners across the world, mostly from US and as well as Canada and Europe, have gathered to crush role-playing games and support charity. We are partnered with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and the US-based grassroots charity which advocates for the mentally ill and provides support services for individuals and families living with mental illness.
Yeah, so also one other thing coming up specifically in this area, I actually made a safety save just in case this happened in the run, but how Tara mentioned there will be another door later in the game where we need that train arrow to open up. This is where it is, and if you don't get the train arrow, not only do you lose a heck ton of time on the Dive Man and Heatman fights, but you will just have to stand in here and farm random encounters as Heatman until one finally drops.
No, it's not fun.
Yeah, fortunately that's the only real like RNG-based roadblock in the game, but it's pretty easy to get over the hump.
I guess it's nice that they do disable random encounters during these soul weapon segments. There's so many times where you'll do like a puzzle on Battle Network and being constantly interrupted by random encounters is kind of annoying. Oh, this is actually a toll road.
Oops.
In order to go through that cube, you have to pay 100 yen. You have to do that every time you go through this area. It's really silly.
It's like real life.
Yeah, and these panels are not just for show, they are conveyor belts that I really don't want to step on except for one spot, because they do move very fast, but they will move you to the opposite side of the map. But if you can ride on one, by all means do it, because it's pretty speedy.
Yeah. I guess we take advantage of it in places. Very minorly.
One place.
Yeah.
I don't know, I like it. I think it's a cool strat.
Yeah.
Just wanted to mention a couple of the donation prizes that you get for donating during this run. So we still have the Shining Force 2 keys that go through to the end of this run. A Breath of Fire Super Famicom cartridge donated by Ryu Bastion has a minimum donation of $5, and that'll go on until Legend of Mana. And also a G-Beast Perler by Caleb Hart, which is good for the end of this run. Till the end of this run.
G-Beast looks cool, you'll see him later. So this is a series of 3 fixed fights, and again, fixed fights are nice because, especially with the combination of the signature chip as Heatman and the crack shot on Reg, it's basically a puzzle of how can we clear this fight the quickest using the tools we have, and we've come up with things that work pretty well and are fast and consistent, so it's really nice, as well as maintaining full synchro again so that heat press constantly does double damage. Nice.
Yeah, the set encounters are honestly the most fun part of the game for me, because just routing these out is very, very fun and satisfying because they just fly by, as you just saw. So it's fun to have a very nice, consistent encounter where it all just comes down to good menuing and good movement with the viruses.
I like how this official Navi, he's standing up, the other two were kind of like on the ground because they were exhausted fighting. He's like, oh, I've been waiting for you to show up here, do my work.
Well, I mean, when a 10-year-old controlling a lighter on the internet shows up, what else do you do other than ask for help? Yeah, so this is the final bit of soul weapons for now. And right after this will be the boss of this area. He doesn't have his own comp. He's just part of the scenario. He is Circus Man, because Capcom apparently forgot they made Clown Man in Mega Man 8.
We have a $50 donation from Anonymous. This is my first time tuning into RPG Limit Break, and I'm excited to see the amazing schedule. Let's reach our goal and to help out those who face mental illness every day. Thank you very much for your donation.
And one other thing that kind of matters on set encounters, specifically this one, this strat for it is slightly inconsistent because it revolves around getting the viruses to move in the direction you want, which is random, but it usually isn't too bad.
Extra card shots are nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I got the exact enemy movement I wanted.
Nice.
Oh no, the time has expired. What the heck?
Forgot about that. Quick, put another quarter in.
No,
We need
no,
60
I
more
got it.
minutes.
Dude, how do I cancel the timer? I can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was a fun detour.
All right then.
Oh, and oh man, dude, that timer is distracting.
I see.
I almost let Mega Man die when the timer expired. I gotta go give him that water.
Yes.
Yeah, so finishing this will unlock. There's actually a second form of transformation in this game, addition to the crosses, is you get the Beast Out. And Beast Out is basically, think of the idea of souls more so since they're on a time limit, or well, a turn limit. But they do the same thing where they just transform you into, well, a beast with cool effects. And this tutorial will show you them off in pretty devastating fashion.
Beast Out's OP.
And you can also combine Beast Out right here with crosses, which I will show off later in the run for fun.
Nice. So, Beast Out increases the damage of non-elemental chips. So since Vulcan is non-elemental, instead of doing 30, it does a tremendous amount of damage. And then G-Beast also homes in, so whenever you use an attack, you zoom forward to attack the target. So the Vulcan killed the Matar and gave you full synchro, which is why he waited. And then the White Sword with double damage took out both of the enemies using the lock-on, so it's really cool.
Yeah, so if you're at all familiar with the Star Force series, the lock-on mechanic is very, very similar with Beast Out.
Indeed.
Yeah, so right now, just put on my sneak run and I'm heading right to Circus Man, and you will, for the first time, witness the raw power of, well, crosses. They're something else, but like I said earlier, crosses transform this game more into reacting to draws, to knowing exactly how boss patterns work.
Yes, and just to be clear, this is a boss. Yeah. I like how Circus Man is basically clapping for you. It's like, well done.
Yeah, but that's the first boss you see. He's not too challenging, but the ones later on definitely, because they're knowing how to deal with their patterns while in your cross form is very, very important. It's not something where you can just charge up your Buster and fire it all Hail Mary. You actually need to time it very well, since it actually takes time to charge up, and it always triggers invincibility frames. So you actually need to not go too fast, otherwise the boss is just going to be phasing right through your shot.
The upside of Heat Cross is it's 130 damage, 3-range flamethrower. The downside is it locks you in place and you have to worry about iframes, so it's just balancing those two. Dude, no encounter, nice.
Yeah, it's almost like I had a sneak run. So that extra Zinni I got earlier actually was pretty cool. Tara reminded me to buy an extra sneak run with it, which just means, yeah, I got artificial luck.
So this is sort of like a fetch quest. They're trying to get an operator for the pavilion at grand opening, and they want you to go find these various things. So we gotta take a detour to see said area, which is nice because I like the music here.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, so we're starting out. I want to say my favorite scenario in the whole game, which is Judge Man, not all the Navis in the Battle Network series are based off of classic Mega Man or Mega Man X characters. Judge Man is just completely unique, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, they actually had a lot planned for Judge Man, and because you can look in the people have found like in the code, there's attacks that are not connected to his AI, so they wanted to do a lot more with it, but I guess in the end just couldn't fit all there. So there's like videos showing what Judge Man could have been like, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and right after this, though, is going to be more interesting overworld movement, because we're getting to about the third point in the game, and as soon as that happens, well, stuff with the Navi Cust gets crazy, we're going to get more crosses, and this is when the game really starts picking up steam. Oh yeah, so have we actually mentioned about the Boktai donation incentive that was met, other than the fact that it exists?
No, we've not talked about it. When is the first thing coming up?
It's not going to come up for a while, but it is something that will be worked towards for the entire run, considering parts have already been taken, like an extra lotto code, to start building towards the bosses I'm going to fight. So basically, the reason why I'm specifically on the Japanese version right now is because if you're familiar with the other series, Boktai, which is like a pretty cool like stealth action game from like Kojima, Hideo Kojima of Metal Gear fame. Yeah, so there's a crossover with these games, and it will add extra super bosses into this run, which we will see the Count of Ground Soaking Blood, who's the primary antagonist. Wait, I need to count. This is hard.
Yeah.
2, 3, 3, 1, 2. I'm just the quiz master.
Yeah. So there's two quizzes we do for side items that will be very useful later on. The first one is sort of unnecessary, however, it is a requirement in order to access the second quiz, which we will do post-Judgment scenario.
Yeah, so like I was just mentioning earlier, we're going to be fighting the Count of Ground Soaking Blood, who is the primary Boktai antagonist, and we're going to be fighting Base, who is usually just a general super boss in the Battle Network series. Super boss being a term used to describe bosses that are typically post-game and significantly harder than bosses in the main storyline.
And also really fun fights.
Yes.
Like these games really shine in the post-game, which you're not going to see very much of in any % speedrun.
But this is a good taste with the extra Boktai stuff.
Yes. So if you're interested in the combat system, do try these games out on the Wii U Virtual Console, and you can find them in most used game store pretty cheaply.
Unfortunately, they did remove the Boktai scenario from the English version of 6.
Yes.
So there isn't really much post-game in that version.
You still get quite a bit with the graveyard, though.
You do.
Yeah, a couple areas had to be cut. A large part of that is just the fact that English characters take up more space and memory than do Japanese characters. So they
As well as Boktai 3 just not getting localized.
True.
Yeah, there was licensing issues there, I believe, alongside that, so...
So random encounters are going to look a lot like that from now on. It's basically we have copy damage on Reg, and through combining that as well as the 130 damage flamethrower from Heat Cross, you get pretty creative.
Yeah, so this door is nothing special. Basically what's going on here is we're in a courthouse, and these little Navis are in their lawyer club. And we got to join the lawyer club right now so we can solve law trivia to get through the gate. Unfortunately, they're kind of jerks, and they charge us $1,000 to be their friend.
Just think of all the money you'll make, though, once you're a lawyer. This is an amazing investment, as they say.
I just want to get through this one door, dude.
This Zenny routing for 6 actually isn't too bad. The game, just with all the bosses that you fight and how little you have to buy, outside just like sneak runs and stuff, you usually have enough excess that stuff isn't too much of a problem, which is nice. Zenny's a lot tighter in a bunch of the other games.
Yeah, like they'll involve getting Zenny off of random encounters and green mystery data, which, like Tara mentioned earlier, GMD drops are random.
Usually.
Yes.
But a nice use of copy damage there, since the Met 2 was going to stay at the bottom as well as be invulnerable. Copy damage on that, and then the flamethrower to get the double kill. Because the animation time for the flamethrower is kind of long, so in general you want to finish a fight in one shot if at all possible. And even better, green area has a bunch of wood viruses, so we're going to be doing double damage. So wood viruses tend to have the most health in the game, upwards of like 200, but it doesn't matter because their church out does 260 to them, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, so one of the reasons, like Tara just mentioned, where specifically wood-type viruses have a lot of HP, and that's one of the reasons why Heat Cross is good. Not just that, I haven't drawn it at a useful time yet, but one of my chips, M-Boomer, it is a boomerang that deals a lot of damage, circles around the enemy battlefield, but the big thing is it generates grass tiles, and an enemy standing on a grass tile is treated as being weak to fire, which means my Heat Cross Buster goes from dealing 130 damage to 260 damage. So compare a 260 damage charge shot to really any chip I could be drawing.
Yeah, Boomer is nice.
And I think I mentioned it earlier, but when I was trying to get the green mystery data in battle in Central 1, you can get a mini version of Boomer which still generates grass panels, and that can drop off of one of the battle GMDs. And just getting that and drawing it on the fights, even though it doesn't do as much damage as M-Boomer, just making your Buster do more damage with the grass panels is ridiculous in a great way. Yeah, so this is like another bit of pretty interesting battle network logic right here. So apparently our dad just got put in jail, and instead of doing anything, our mom is just going to tell us to go get him out.
Yeah, at the end of school year, you get an email from your mom that says, "Hey, Dad got arrested. Don't be late for dinner."
Got to keep her priorities in order.
Yeah. So we got to go to Greentown and figure out what it is. The charge against him is that in the previous area you saw, once we talked to all the people, the big tree was actually the judge for that courtroom. So your dad has been accused of hacking the judge tree. Which, you know, why would he do that? But who cares? That's what the game says, so we're going to go deal with it.
And this is the most text mashing you will see in the entire run. So hopefully I can keep up my speed, because usually I like hearing my mashing speed just progressively get slower through it.
Lawyers like to talk. He gives you the documents on the current state of the case, such as like what is known about where your dad is and alibis and whatnot.
Dude, that mashing is rough. In Battle Network games, the main way I prefer to text mash, Tara does a slightly alternate route, but I alternate between A and B to advance text, while Tara just holds B, and holding B will just sort of passively auto-progress text, and then he just mashes A on top of that.
My A button doesn't stink.
Yeah, my A button is, well, it's something else, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, so the school has video cameras, and our dad was repairing some stuff, like one of the blackboards in the school, and the video camera recording it is his alibi.
Well, he's just trying to prove his innocence, so he goes ask Mr. Mock, "Hey, do you remember which blackboard someone might have been repairing yesterday?" So we're going to go check and see if we can find any trace of the footage. But like anything else, of course there's a virus. So this is the first time you've seen a killer eye, which they're pretty cool, except he's dead now. It's a nice virus. It picks a direction to look, and then if you stand in front of it, it fires a laser at you, which is very piercing. Like, even if you're invisible, you'll still take damage, and it also paralyzes you. So killer eyes are pretty threatening.
Yeah, they're one of the more lethal viruses in the game. There aren't too many Navis. There aren't too many viruses in this game that can really threaten you, but they are one of them, in addition to an enemy you'll see later on called Pulse Bulbs. The only other thing you really need to be wary of is enemies that can hit your cross's weakness, because getting hit by your cross's weakness will actually remove your cross, in addition to doing massive damage.
Yeah, there's a few fights later, but, well, Plum is going to get one extra cross to help combat that, and you'll see it in the next scenario. Yeah, next scenario.
Yep.
So, now that we've got the recording from the security bot that was hidden in the closet, we have Dad's alibi, so we can go back to the courtroom, prove his innocence, as well as knowing the identity of the real culprit.
Ooh, I wonder who it could be. That's actually just a joke, because I've played through this game before, I promise.
That is yet to be seen.
Yeah, so we're coming right up on this comp, which will be the judge tree, and this comp features my favorite music in the entire game.
Actually, you know, you joke, but there's a few people that have like picked up various Battle Network games to speedrun them, because like they've played other ones and they're like, oh, you know, this one looks like a fun run, so I'm gonna do it. And then because you skip the cutscenes and the text and everything, you can actually pretty easily forget the story and like, wait, hold on, how does this even make sense?
Yeah, like, how did Mick get a penguin into the school? That's a really good question.
These are the questions.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that door, we need to know some more random law trivia, so it's a good thing we paid $1,000 to be friends with some lawyers.
Yeah, it's too bad it doesn't just like prompt you with the number input, because then if you remember it, you can just do it. But plot-wise, Land's like, I don't know this, and so you gotta go talk to the lawyers.
I mean, it's only 3 digits, you could guess. You might be there for a while, but this is an emergency.
It's true. Sure, the door's like, sorry, you've entered too many incorrect passwords. We're locked.
Oh no, it's over, dude.
Unable to finish run. So yeah, so this is a tree. Trees are apparently robotic.
So get ready for a good song. And here, you can go ahead and explain the gimmick for this comp, because it's pretty neat.
Yeah, so I do like this dungeon. Basically, it's about like law, and the one that they're doing here for whatever reason is like you can't backtrack or don't go back, and that's represented by the grass. Whenever you step off of a tile, the previous tile has grass put on it, and if you step on the grass, then you get attacked by this judge mallet hammer thing, which will fly towards you, and then if it comes into contact with you, will punish you based on how many tiles that you walked over, and then send you back to the beginning of the area. So the puzzle is to figure out, okay, without retracing my steps, how can I hit all of the switches? And it's slightly dissatisfying because I couldn't figure out how to put grass on every single tile and hit all of the switches.
Also, you may notice that in the corner of those tiles, there's actually a little like diamond thing that actually can interrupt your movement and cause you to like bounce back on the previous panels. I know that I had that issue a few times playing this game casually.
Yeah. They tried to make it to where you couldn't like walk across corners, so that way you wouldn't like jump between too many tiles too quickly. But it makes corners here really awkward.
Yeah, like, they did it just so you don't accidentally, like, cut a corner too sharply and trigger, like, 3 panels at the same time and screw yourself over. But, it's whatever. Also, I drew this last fight, but didn't recognize it. If you can ever instantly end an encounter like that, and without needing to go into your cross form, that saves a bit of time because of that animation of actually getting into your cross. So this is one other reason why Hellburner is really nice, because just getting 140 damage with its ship and copy damage onto 2 wood viruses is really good.
Heat Cross is really effective. And you'll see Plum like walking right by a bunch of blue mystery data, even though they contain really nice things. They're not relevant for the speedrun, so we kind of skip them. It's one of those like harder habits to break when you switch from like playing these games casually to trying to go fast.
It's like one other thing I'm trying to do generally with Heat Cross is I want to be as close to enemies when I use it as possible because it doesn't deal damage instantly to the whole row in front of me. It takes a bit of time to travel forward, so I want to just be as close as possible when I use it. It's a very minor time saver, but it's the little optimizations that matter.
So this part's neat. Plum's actually going to step here, and so he's locked himself because he needs to backtrack in order to go forward. But stepping all in the grass to get the mallet to come chase you is actually faster because there's less walking, and while he's chasing you, you can't get into a virus battle. And here's the next boss, Judgment. We use the term boss very loosely here in this game.
Do you want to explain this pattern?
Yes, Judgman will move twice and then move into attack. He does an electric whip twice, and then after that he will summon 2 books, which then move forward and like close in on your positions. He has another attack where he'll summon a large book in front of him, which then does various other effects. And there's even removed abilities to where he will disable some of your actions, and if you take them, you get punished for it, which is pretty interesting. But you don't really get to see any of that because Heat Cross will trivialize a lot of these bosses.
And we are actually going to get the coolest Navicust program in my opinion, the whole series.
Agree.
Because not only will it make us go faster, but it also makes movement more fun. So
Yeah.
instead of just being able to run around the internet, we will be able to get ice physics anywhere in the internet.
'Cause
And
who doesn't like ice physics?
yeah,
Dude, I love ice physics. They're really fun.
you might think that's a bad thing, but it actually works out in our favor for various reasons.
Do you want to explain how like the actual random encounter rate works?
Okay. So once he gets slip run, basically you start auto running. Instead, you don't have to hold B to run, but B has a different function now. So Mega Man will just always be running, and whenever you push the B button, he will slide forward in the direction he's facing. The way that the game does random encounters is every time you take 64 steps, it does an encounter check, and based on
Dude, quizzes are way too hard. This guy is just roasting me right now.
yeah, very tough trivia here. But every 64 steps, the game will give you an encounter check, and based on your total number of steps, each area has a different encounter curve, and each check has a successively higher chance for you to get an encounter. So it'll be like a 3% chance for an encounter, 6, 15, up to 50 at cap. But whenever you slip, you take like a whole bunch of steps at once, and you don't get an encounter check until you hit a wall. So if you've got a really long straight stretch in front of you, instead of walking forward and getting like 10 encounter checks, you can slide across the whole thing, and step counter will increase the same total, but you'll only get 1 encounter check. And so you're effectively reducing the total number of encounters as well as moving faster, because sliding is faster than running.
Well, that was a lot of technical mumbo jumbo. All you need to know is you basically throw yourself forward on ice skates and you go really fast.
Yes.
And you get less encounters. It's fun. So this is actually one optional thing I do. I'm pretty much the only runner who does this, but I am firmly in belief that there's absolutely no reason to skip this unless you are doing like world record attempts and you are also just a god at this game, because you need to get basically insane luck in addition to playing insanely well in hard parts of the game.
Agree. So he's picking up an item now, rush food. They cost 3,000 each, but each one will give you an item to where you can put rush in one particular tile, and these are used to open up shortcuts to quickly travel between different areas. And this one that we buy, we'll be using multiple times in the run, and it saves a ton of time, a lot of backtracking and walking around. But this is where Plum is going to go do, because we said earlier in the heat cross scenario that that's the only required one. This is one of the optional crosses, and
It does multiple things. I'm more familiar with it, so do you just want me to explain?
yeah.
Basically, this specific one does a lot for us. It trivializes a lot of other boss fights in the game, as well as virus encounters that can really screw you over, in addition to one Japanese exclusive version difference that will make Electcross very, very handy. But one of the other big things where this actually makes up time is it cuts out quite a bit of backtracking along not only the real world and taking lev buses, but also against the internet. And Heatman and Electman can both struggle quite a bit with a lot of random encounters. So it's unfortunate that I didn't run away, but the way I typically view these encounters is if it's going to be a 2-turn encounter, I will almost always just attempt to run twice, because the scarecrow-looking enemies are quite annoying. They heal when you hit them with electrical damage, so as Electman, that's very unfortunate. Heatman has his own set of problems when you're trying to run through here, in addition to getting more encounters because he has to do more backtracking. Heatman very, very much struggles with hitting the back row of viruses, just because of the short range on his Buster charge.
Ooh. So the scenario, or the unique problem that Electman has to face here, is that he has to collect batteries to repower the area. And they're in the same position, and all of these, we'll call them zombies, are on a global timer for the area. So as long as Plum moves in about the same way, they should be in roughly the same position. But it's pretty easy to get stuck in a corner.
Yeah, corners are the true final boss of this game.
Right there.
Just like I mean, honestly, that's the real killer of speedruns. Puts you off. Oh, crap. This went a little too early, but it's not a big deal. Just a very minor time loss of needing to mash through that text box, and that's
Okay. I actually know what happens when you get caught. So I guess you just have like health.
You also, the view radius around you is
yeah.
reduced,
And
which
just-
casually means this section can get very, very difficult, because the more hits you take, the more likely you are to take additional hits because you can't see the zombies around you. And here, it's a very short thing. So it's going to cut out a lot of backtracking and save time on certain boss fights later on in the run, which I'll explain once I actually use Electcross on those boss fights, rather than just naming off a huge list of them right now.
Yep. So that scenario actually isn't too long once you know it. Like Plum said, it's worth getting unless you're going for world record attempts, and even then, the time save is almost neutral. Like we're talking maybe a minute.
Less than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with this game right now, you can still get record using this route quite easily.
You have shots fired?
Yes, Terra holds the record currently, and Terra skips this, but he has his own unique strats, which is one cool thing about this game, is that there's a lot of potential strats you can do that are all roughly about the same time, but it's a lot of personal preference on what you want to do. Obviously, there is one optimal route, but there's so many other factors that come into play with an optimal route. So do you want to go for the most consistent route? Do you want to go for the most optimal route? Do you want to just play with things that are slightly slower but make the game more fun for you? All these things come into play, and BN6 is...
Chip? Do you know about it now? Or
I'll buy it later.
Okay.
BN6 is just nice enough in that a lot of these are basically viable, so you get to pick and choose what you want to do. In Terra, he combines Heat Cross with Beast Out in the final boss fight, which that's like one of his unique strats that actually does save a bit of time for him. That pretty much he's the only runner that does that, where I'm the only runner that grabs Electcross.
Heat Beast is catching on, alright? Let's see. But this scenario is nice. These are all fixed fights. Basically, in order to win some promotion, or this is the Pavilion Comp operator test again, is you have to pass each judge's test, and each one is a series of battles. This first one is 3, and they throw, these are all fixed encounters, so again, we've got Heat Cross, and Plum also has Electcross, which is really nice, and we have copy damage. So you can combine those two. Interesting strats there.
Yeah, I meant to go into Elect Cross, but I accidentally messed up my menu. Fortunately, it's not too bad because even, like, Heat Cross is still just great, so...
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do the wrong cross because when you push up to open the menu, it remembers your previous one, and then if you hold up, it'll start cycling through both of them pretty quickly, so it's easy to pick the wrong one. Plum, I guess, is the only one that really has to deal with the fact that there's multiple to choose from. We just like hold up and match in. And then here you can really see Slip Run coming into effect, and the fact that he didn't get an encounter is largely due to the reduced number of encounter checks, which is really nice. And it's also fast and fun. Now let's see where this old stove goes. Still good.
Yeah, ideally the old stove moves right instead of down, and then you can quickly just end that fight in a single charge shot. But it doesn't waste too much time because a lot of the strats that are inconsistent with minor enemy movement things, they've all got backup strats that you can rely upon, just in case the enemy doesn't move quite the way you want them to.
Yeah. And anytime there's a water virus here, it's a bit of a threat as Heat Cross, because if you get hit, you lose the cross, and you also do reduce damage. And since the flamethrower locks you in place, it's a very real threat. However, with the Elect Cross, one, it's not range limited, so that's something that's really nice about the Elect Cross charge shot. Oh, and these are the pulse bombs that Plum mentioned earlier. These are probably some of the worst viruses in the game because they are invulnerable to pretty much everything while they're not attacking. And then their attacks will either stun or paralyze you depending on which version you get hit by. It's really annoying.
Yeah, so you kind of have to bait them into the front row, and then you can double back because you can only damage them while they're opened up. Yeah, and then like on some encounters like that, Elect Cross doesn't have that feature, but Heat Cross has a lingering hitbox, which means that you can just place it out and enemies can move right into it. The draw that Elect Cross has over that, though, is Elect Cross is not limited by the 3-panel range, so you can chill in your back row and hit it the enemy back row too, which is very, very convenient.
Indeed. A little annoying that this sometimes viruses will actually have battle chips.
Ah, crap. Oh well.
You started this fine.
Yeah.
Good copy damage. And it's random what they do. They can't have any battle chip. It's usually a fixed set, like either area grab or recov, or sometimes Geddon.
I've never seen Geddon. Do the fire hits have that?
Yeah, yeah. Which is funny because they completely lock themselves. They can't actually attack on a broken panel.
Yep.
So, or other humors.
If you don't know what Geddon does, it breaks all the panels that aren't being currently occupied.
Yeah, sorry. And then here's one place where Heat Cross and copy damage is really nice. He's going to put copy damage on the Golem, which normally take half damage from pretty much everything, and then use his charge shot on the Wood Virus. So instead of doing half damage, he's doing double damage. So you can take those guys out in one charge shot instead of like 4. And then these plane viruses will move into your lane. Some will, some stay in their lane, and then move forward, which is really nice because what Plum said about the lingering hitbox is they'll run through multiple panels of your flamethrower, and so you can hit them as many as 3 times.
The Armadillos do a similar thing because they try to charge you and keep on going into more and more panels of Heat Cross's charge shot.
Yeah, that last fight's kind of annoying as Heat Cross, so there's definitely a lot of places where having Elect Cross is going to be really nice to make things faster and more consistent.
And then Mets, as you can see with this encounter, Mets that aren't yellow, the way they shield themselves can become very, very awkward and force you to do some kind of weird strats to kill them quickly.
Yeah. They're annoying, not so much in that they're... Ooh.
Okay, so you're about to see the power boomer, hopefully. No.
Okay, you moved in the middle.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
But, Mega Boomer circles the field, and whenever it's on an enemy's panel, it'll spawn grass. It's really cool because it's fast, and it does a lot of damage, and it multi-hits.
Yeah, I just wanted to go fast on that, so I was just kind of hoping the old stove moved right. It is random which direction they move in, so it wasn't the smartest decision on my part, but hey, sometimes you just want to go fast.
Risk reward.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of high risk, high reward stuff in this game. and it definitely adds a lot to it. Just makes it really high octane. Oops.
Yeah, I think 6 is one of the more fun runs, personally. Because there's a lot more virus fights included in it. For the time. Feels a bit more like an action game than the others. And the rolling log virus will always try to hide behind something, either a teammate or an obstacle. And we can abuse copy damage to take out the golem as well. These guys.
Yeah, this is a pretty awkward mechanics pulse bulbs have, but when they want to actually charge onto you, they can, oh no, they can stay on the same panel enemies are currently occupying.
Uh-oh.
Nah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang.
Dying here doesn't really matter. This is a very whatever place to die on, but like I said, pulse bulbs are generally pretty terrible.
Yeah, they are a very bad virus. If you die during any of the judge fights,
Yeah, like that's why I don't play them too safe, because it's whatever if you die. Just start back from the beginning, and they all go pretty fast, so. Yeah, what I was trying to do though, I just got a little distracted, but I wanted to just put the copy damage on the Scarecrow, and then basically double up the damage with the Pulse Bulb occupying the same panel.
yeah, there's a few enemies that can end up occupying the same panel as other viruses, and you can take advantage of that. Mega Boomer was a really nice draw there.
Yeah, just saving any time from not being able, or not going into a cross is really nice, and also that's a
Yeah,
cool
got a
4
cannon.
cannon draw.
That's all 4 cannons in your folder. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, so like I said, just you can take these encounters pretty risky. Most of the other encounters in the game, you will definitely play a lot safer, but since you know what these are to begin with, you can just sort of go all out on them.
Yeah, the judge fights are more like puzzles than anything, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, so here, hopefully I can get this strat this time. The pulse bulb just kind of like locked onto me very quickly. Boom, and we're good.
Nice.
And that single shot eliminated both of them.
Yep, because copy damage on the electric guy, plus the extra damage from the pulse bulb, which is good because, as Plum mentioned earlier, is whenever those guys are hit with lightning, they heal, and their attack actually. Oh, and I like this fight. You get the champion to move back, so you double hit him with the flamethrower, which takes out both of them. That's so good. But the Scarecrow's attack is itself lightning, so whenever it attacks, it kills itself.
I got distracted by that M-Boomer. I really wanted it, dude.
That was very tempting.
Yeah, because I thought I could, if I got lucky with the Piranha, I would put the copy damage on the Puffer and have it run into both, so it would deal enough damage to KO it, even though it had 70 more HP than a single M-Boomer would be able to deal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where you really need to balance the risk-reward of, is this worth it in case I do miss and I have to go a full turn without a cross?
Like the last fight too. Get all 3 hits off on the plane. And that's it for the judge scenario.
Yep, and now we are actually going to one of the major points where Elecman will save time through reducing backtracking and encounters.
Yeah, this alone is one of the reasons Electros was even considered to begin with, just because basically Mix Navi got captured. And we're going to take a detour here to pick up the second expand memory, so...
As well as reset the encounter rate.
that too. Whenever you do an area transition, it resets your step counter to 0, so that's nice. And Mega Man has to go rescue Mix Navi. Unfortunately, when he does, it was a trap, and then the people there try to lure the Psy Beast out of Mega Man.
Yeah, so normally for this backtracking,
Sub-chip.
I can buy it later. I'll just buy it when it's raining.
Okay.
Yeah, normally I... Oh, what am I thinking? I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Dude, I'm just thinking about Charge Man right now. Cool. Oh, yeah, for this backtracking, normally I'd need to go all the way back to the school to the room with Mr. Match to get Heatman, and then I'd need to go all the way from Central 1 to this sky area and get into the Undernet. I mean, we do have the banner to RHP, But as a luck man, you're right outside the entrance to the Undernet, and boom, here we go.
Yeah, it's really nice. So is it sometimes just by walking and the encounters are better and
Kind of
that's
unfortunate, but the one encounter is like not the worst, especially when you consider like how many you could potentially get as
Oh yeah, I forgot his church shot's really interesting. It like just locks onto nearby enemies and hits them with lightning.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward though with moving enemies, because since it's so slow to actually charge and hit the panels, you basically need to be preemptive with your strikes with it, and missing it is very, very costly. Just because it takes so long to charge.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically what Terra's been kind of reminding me to do is it doesn't really matter when you do it, but just for safety later on, it wastes practically 0 time to get, but I will buy 4 subchips that will allow me to automatically recover all of my HP, which are very, very convenient when I get into the actual final boss battle. I was trying to do like air quotes there. The final like boss refight portion of the game.
Yeah, basically in the future all of your weather is controlled by a floating sky fortress, and that has gone wrong, so now weather is bad.
Well, actually, it's controlled by household appliances in the Sky Fortress.
Oh, Mr. Weather.
Capcom definitely got creative with this one.
The scientist is standing at the bottom of the elevator saying, it doesn't work.
It's almost like I just got to do some virus busting.
I want to go ahead and give a quick reminder to some of the donation incentives coming up. So after this run, we have Final Fantasy V, which you have the option to... It looks like we've already met our Fight Neo X-Death and the Gilgamesh battles, but you can still name Bartz. Currently in the lead at $118 is Butts A. Second place at Warmex 65, Fiesta at 15, and Bic at 10. So we got about an hour more of this run, so get your donations in for that if you'd like to snipe the name. We also have the storyline choice for Legend of Mana, which is Dragon is currently leading at 64.50 with Fairy behind it at 49.50. And the character names for Legend of Mana, Fairy or Dragon any percent race, with Prozac at $50 and Bob Ross at $40.
So this fight's really terrible with Heat Cross, but fortunately, well, you drew Element Trap. So this is where Element Trap is just awesome, because you can apply it before the fight starts. The Starfish immediately does a water attack. Everything on the field takes 240 damage of water. So that's an ideal draw. Otherwise, you have to
Elect Cross makes it very fast, but as Heat Cross, if you don't draw Element Trap on that fight, it is very, very rough.
It's one of the few places where it's usually better to Beast Out than it is to use Heat Cross. And this is another fight that I really don't like, is Heat Cross, but with the Light Cross, since you can one-shot all these things, is much nicer. I just realized the charge shot for a Light Cross also has a lot less of a downtime, so you can move much more quickly
Yes,
afterwards.
correct, and that is very, very important in the final boss fight.
Yeah. But each of these 4 different things here is a different element. It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know why they wanted to give a heater the ability to spit fire, or an air conditioner the ability to freeze the ground. I feel like they went a little excessive on these appliances. So that's a nice taking advantage of the lingering hate box of the flamethrower, to where the old slugs will eventually move into the middle and you can multi-hit all of them pretty easily.
Yeah, sometimes they just like playing musical chairs, though, and don't want to move into the center.
Yeah. Oh, that Mega Boomer. It's such a good chip whenever it shows up in the chip draw. I always get distracted by it, like, can I use this to solve all my problems?
Yeah, exactly what Tara just said. It's one of those easy things to just, you see it.
Oh, watch this cutscene.
And I'll watch one of them. I'll watch one of them.
dude just like pops out of the locker. I don't know. It's
Yeah, there was a
funny
dude in that
animation,
locker.
alright? He's fine. He's just sleeping. We found him like that. You gonna watch this one?
No.
Dang. The
Dude,
staircase
Tara's
explodes.
disappointed.
Tara, come on.
We're speed running, okay?
Ah, they're so good though. Like some of the cutscenes are really nice. But we need to get to the other side. Unfortunately, Lan can't make the jump, so they're going to use the copy bot with Mega Man in it to get to the other side, and they need to go somewhere higher up to jump across.
Yeah.
Is what's going on right now.
Unfortunately, though, we actually got a key item that is primary. The only way Lan is actually able to make this jump. Earlier, when we were doing the battle tests, Lan was given an umbrella by Mr. Weather, and fortunately, like where Mega Man is powerful enough to make that jump, Lan needs to utilize the umbrella so he can actually just hover across. So yeah, a very like useful thinking. So they definitely got creative with that one. And
Oh no, it's a cheap umbrella.
wait, what? Lan is dead. No.
Ah, that's the
They
wrong
runs
button.
over.
Oh, he's fine. The Mega Man catches him.
Yeah, so I just bought the full energy sub chips.
Yeah. Which are really just a safety more than anything, because
But they're so fast, and
Yeah.
like things in this run can go wrong. They can escalate so quickly. It's
Yeah.
definitely worth it.
as you saw in like the Pulse Bowl fight with all of the 10 fight judge battle, when things do go wrong, they tend to go very wrong. And then here, this is my least favorite comp. Like, it's got okay music, but the gimmick is just, you need to ride on this cloud to collect the rainbow macaroni to make the clouds taste the rainbow, and it's just
Depth
like,
perception in an RPG is horrible.
yeah, it's really hard to pick them up. And then these planes have like just enough health to where you can't one-shot them. But unfortunately, they mix through the flamethrower and take multiple hits. Oh,
Taking a damage boost. It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
See how fast I got flung?
was it intentional? Yeah, these clouds are really weird. Sometimes you'll like hit them and pass through them. This first one is kind of slow. Nice circle. Nice
Thank
circle.
you.
Yeah.
Not trying to draw text this year. Just want a nice circle.
Oh.
Dude, I just got
The
comboed.
double.
You got the corner
He was
reset on
waiting
me.
for- It's okay. It's okay. You're gonna
What the heck?
You're gonna get the double, and you'll pay him back. So the cloud that Mega Man's riding on has basically 3 HP. So if it gets hit 3 times, it will fall apart, and then you'll land below and have to go get a new cloud.
Although what I can do is I can do a frame perfect damage boost on the clouds after I circle one to get back onto the ground to slip run to the exit faster.
Perfect. You're gonna like get both clouds and get hit at the same time.
Heck yeah, dude. By heck yeah, I mean there's no way I'm doing that.
All right, we'll see.
Ugh.
Where are they?
Whoa, dude, he wanted me.
All right. Okay. At least they sort of behave themselves afterwards.
Yeah, so even after getting hit up with the corner reset, I still got out. We're chilling.
The clouds have been pretty okay so far. Sometimes they'll like just disappear and like completely go to the far edges of the map, and you have no idea where they go.
Yeah, sometimes they actually just despawn from the game. I'm like pretty convinced.
Yeah, I like that slip there because since you slip directly on the cloud, you actually don't increase your step counter
Whoa.
any. He was waiting for you.
Dude, who gave these clouds invisibility? I don't like it. But yes, this
Oh.
cloud is as impossible
Can
to
I get the
control as it
double?
looks. Whoa.
No, they split up. Dang.
You just move at like 5 million miles an hour in these clouds. Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay.
Alright.
Perfect
Yeah,
circle.
these things are... They're rough.
Yeah. So
Oh.
unfortunate counter there at the end. It's got a pulse bulb.
Dude, I hate pulse bulbs.
It's okay. You got this. Oh, no copy then.
I
So-
figured copy damaging would probably just get me hit, and
So
Yeah.
Element Man's pretty interesting in that he can cycle through all the different elements. His attack pattern is pretty straightforward at first. He'll move 3 times and then summon 2 tornadoes, move 3 times, summon 2 tornadoes. But then after that, he'll change elements. And when he does, he then gains access to a unique attack based off of that element. And Plum is going to let him change because the order is the same each time. And the first element he switches to, unfortunately for him, is grass. So we just get to do double damage. And the attack that he does actually spawns grass panels, so sometimes he'll stand on top of it and you can hit him for 4 times damage, which is really nice. So that was Element Man, poor guy. He just chose the wrong element.
dude, if only he just chose Aqua, then
Oh.
we'd be in real pain.
That'd be so bad. You just elect cross.
Well, dude, I'm chilling. Terry here'd be terrified.
Oh, it's so bad. So now this is, I think, the final part of the Pavilion Navi Operator test, where you have to go find a certain key item in the Undernet. So we'll be taking advantage of Sky HP shortcut to get there more quickly, as well as Slip Run. So hopefully we don't get any encounter, but
Yeah,
It's
it's
alright.
just as common to get an encounter in here as it is to not get one. It's like a 50-50.
I mean, you either get one or you don't. It's
Yep.
50-50. Thanks, Rush. That saves a ton of time. Like, you don't even know. So we got to talk to the 2 guys here to get a clue as to how to get deeper into the internet. Because unfortunately, once we get to the end of this area, there's actually a door blocking us.
So that's pretty good. 0 encounters total.
Yeah, that was nice. Because the encounters in the internet, as you saw with the White Man, can sometimes be pretty bad. So we have to go find someone who may know the password. The hint we got was that they're a former convict, so we're going to go to Greentown and see if we can get any additional information.
And we go through the back door just because it saves time on loading screens.
Yeah, one less
Just and
transition.
walking too.
It's like a second faster. Greentown music's kind of peaceful. Reminds me of like Okuden.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go fight base now.
Oh, right, that's the thing we do.
We raised $250.
Cool. So this is the first part of the Boktai scenarios. You have to go beat base in order to get the bat key, which will open up a secret area. And if Plum can beat base before I do, I'll donate $10.
Wait, what the heck, dude? This is cheating.
So I've got a save file here on Battle Network 6, and I'm right in front of base, so as soon as he gets to it, we'll start the fight at the same time. He's
Dude.
going to use a Let Cross like a dirty cheater, and I'm going to do it with Heat Cross.
Dude, Heat Cross does more damage. I'm in a losing battle here.
We'll see. Maybe you'll just draw a Mega Boomer.
Heat Cross does 130 damage, while Elect Cross will do 120 damage. And on base, it will save 1 hit.
I'm not range limited, though, is my problem. And
Yes, correct.
if you stand in the front, which I have to, base likes to throw a different attack at me than he will at Plum, which will crack your panels. Instead, he just uses tank cannons since he's in the back typically. The Mega Boomer was nice because it also destroyed the Battle Green mystery data, so you didn't get the additional cutscene because there's nothing we would need from it.
Dude, I'm gonna choke. I can't handle this pressure.
You got it. Are you going to save before base?
Yes.
Me too. So if you go behind this tree here, there's actually a shortcut to Undernet 0, which is where base is. So.
I gotta do a quick Navi cust edit and use a full energy as well, though.
Oh, right. So there's HP plus 500 at the bottom. He's got 2 bugs, so he's got like a double HP bug, but again, having like 1,000 HP makes it kind of trivial. So you can verify who's first.
Dude, I never signed up for speedruns live.
This is a race.
Oh, no.
Gamer, you want to talk about interrupting his attack?
Sure, I can do that. So base tends to throw out a lot of things that are very erratic, and it's very difficult to. You can see right there on the screen for you guys on the stream, and it's very difficult to dodge it. And most of his attacks can be canceled if you hit him out of them. And it looks like their lead is definitely in favor of Plum at the moment.
There.
And Plum wins.
Dang, he's got 2
Dude.
shots left.
Base is a very scary fight because of how
Yeah, Tara's
mock
got it.
gun works.
Cool.
Holy moly.
Well, we'll put that towards whatever Plum wants later.
Dragon Route and Legend of Mana. Oh, crap. I should be going to Seaside right now, but
Oh, is that
Dude,
a wrong
That's
left button?
finally a wrong airbus.
dude, Base got me.
Sorry.
My heart's pumping right now. Base is really scary specifically because you've got a bad HP bug going. You're pretty limited in HP compared to what you should be doing that in like a casual playthrough. And it adds up very, very quickly the damage he can do with his machine gun. And the only way to stop it is to, well, in the speedrun setting that we're doing, is to hit him with a full charge Buster Shot. But he can spam that move multiple times. And since you actually have to charge your Buster Shot, whoops. I just want to buy a stuffed animal. Since he can charge his Buster Shot,
They're on sale.
since the Buster Shot takes a while to charge, you can just rack up damage and die super, super quick to that attack. And the other problem with it is since I camp in the back row with the Let Cross, Base can use Tank Cannon, which cracks panels, in addition to Hellburner, which will also crack panels. And the way both of these panels crack mean that if he decides to use his machine gun after the panels are broken, I really can't actually stagger Base out of his machine gun, and I can lose basically all of my HP in one attack from him.
So since it's just random what he does, sometimes you get a good pattern, and sometimes you can get, well, a really, really bad pattern.
Yeah, it's just a very, very scary fight. It's the hardest fight in this run by far.
Though, note that is like optional. once you
Yeah,
decide
it's
stuff.
optional, so.
It's sort of a taste of the post game.
Yeah, it is a fun fight though.
And there are harder versions of him to spawn after you beat him the first
Oh,
time,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Because like he didn't even have an aura in that fight.
Right. Which is VN6 the only one that he doesn't at first?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I
all
think
of
so,
it.
actually, yeah.
Well, actually, at the end of being 2, the fake base didn't, but I don't know if that one counts.
Yeah.
I actually just looked at the estimate right now. That is not correct with the Boktai side quest.
Oh, 235.
The estimate is 245 with the Boktai side quest.
Oh, we'll just go fast.
That's actually, I like 99% won't be able to beat this.
That's fine.
Well, we
Okay.
are a little bit ahead of schedule, so
Yeah, the
Yeah.
estimate I'm just saying right now, though, should be 245. 235 is incorrect.
You can edit that.
Yeah.
So he's ducking in there to reset his step counter. So the item that we need here is the Moonstone, which these guys are just randomly looking off into space. And of course there's an invisible pathway, because what game would be complete without invisible pathways? And being the first to collect it, Lan and Mega Man win the competition. And then you gotta talk to the other competitors, which the 2 unique sprites are other Link Navi operators, and they tell you about their particular classes, so you can go and learn how their navies work and get an additional cross. Shoutouts to Killer Man.
Dude, Dark Scythe is so cool. He's the best character in this game, to be honest. He's the blue-haired dude. He's super edgy.
So now we're actually going back to AC/DC Town, which is the primary place in the previous 5 games.
I believe for Mega Man Battle Network 6, English version, Killer Man was translated as Erase Man, partly for the character name,
Yes, you are correct.
Correct.
because it's like an 8-character limit.
Also, Killer Man's just a little bit too edgy for the American youth.
So that's Lan's old house. You talk to the guy, and he says he's taking care of it. I really like this theme.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs in the game. It's a good remix.
I think one of my favorite things about the limited characters is in BN3 you have Flam Man instead of Flame Man.
Oh, Flam Man.
What the heck? It's Flam Man.
Or Shad M.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, so right now we're just seeing all of our old friends from the previous BN games. Because the new friends we made kind of suck, like Mick and Tab. They don't have unique navies because, well,
They suck.
yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, Mix is sort of a unique color-ish.
He has angry eyes. That's about as much as you can say.
Ooh, Boomer. Nice. Dude was like, no.
He saw what I was doing and he didn't want to have none of that business.
So there's a locked door, and Dex hid the key, which is very reminiscent of the locked door where Mick held the key. Len seems to run into the same people.
Yeah, but Roll lost, like, something, and then the Prog had the something, and we give it back to her, and now we can go meet the rest of our friends.
Well, actually, she ordered an area pass, and the frog was delivering it, but he was late because he got locked out. And then once you bring the pass, she says, that's actually yours, and it's what allows you to go between ACDC and Central on the net.
Oh, yo, thanks for the lore.
Yeah.
Now I know.
There you go. It's annoying. The blue tubey, whenever he plays, puts confusion on you, which isn't as bad as it is in 3, which I think is where it's introduced. In 4, 5, and 6, it just reverses your control. So up is down, down is up, etc. Oh, and all your friends got kidnapped, so now you gotta go save them.
Yeah.
It's like, I just met you. Could you... No. We do this every time.
Fortunately, though, we're not in the outside world, so we don't have to hear, like, the panic theme again.
Oh, yeah, yeah. See, and there's here's where you use ACD pass. And we can take a shortcut to Sky area by going up this way and using a vacuum program, which we also collected earlier. Because they ran away to the Undernet, so we had to go back there.
And that vacuum program is a cameo from BN5, probably at least.
Sure, I mean, 1 is also used there, so for sure. Yeah, actually there's a lot of, if you can see it kind of on the edge of the screen, and sometimes we'll pass like a geyser or a fire, and those are different things that sort of block access, and as you work with the other link navies, you get things that will let you access more portions than that, or if you're using one of the other navies. So that's a sandworm. This is a new enemy. He kind of like hops around and then likes to attack behind you. Oh, interesting. He just hopped right in the way of copy damage. So that works. Fortunately, 130 health means 1 charge shell will take care of him, so works out.
And we're about to come up to the Blast Man and Dive Man refights. And this is one of the places where Electcross does save a good chunk of time.
Cool. You gonna stand in the back if you don't draw Meg Boomer?
I'll just do... yeah, I will.
Try it. It's funnier this way. So hopefully we hit Blast Man. Good, he came to the front. Alright, good, he came to the front. Alright, good, he came to the front. So I can't believe he keeps falling for this. There's just 2 more.
Dude, he's like trying to find us. He can't see behind this cube.
And it's like, where did he go? That's Blast Man. He's really tough. And now Dive Man. This is actually a difficult fight without Electcross.
This fight is extreme. That's an understatement.
Yeah, worse than base, really, to try and do quickly. But since he's got Electcross, he does have to wait for him to surface, but range isn't an issue.
And I do so much more damage.
Double damage. It's pretty ridiculous. This and the walking are the 2 major time saves that Electcross has.
Because if one of those random missiles hits you, you immediately get put out of Heat Cross and you lose a heck ton of time.
Indeed. The alternative there is you can Beast Out, but even then your folder's not exactly equipped for charge chips, which is a mechanic you don't really see because we don't use Beast Out too much. Unfortunately, we lost Mega Man,
Yeah, he's out killing people.
so we gotta go try and get things under control. Yeah, copybots is a new technology that was sort of invented in this area and is unique to being 6, and that's what allows net navies to exist in the real world, like when Mega Man caught us when he jumped across. But you think they'd put some more restraints on that thing. Because G-Beast Mega Man gets in there and just goes crazy. It's even cooler with on the Falza version, because F-Beast goes in there and he can literally fly. Like, I don't know how that copybot does it, but... I guess this is a bit of a plot twist that you kind of see it from some of the other cutscenes that you've watched up to this point, but Lan doesn't yet know. He's going to meet his teacher here, and Lan doesn't know where Mega Man is. So you go see Mr. Mach, and he confesses that he's actually working for the World 3 for certain reasons, and tells you where to find Mega Man. It's actually in the underground.
Yes, and after we do this underground section, we will be able to continue on with the Boktai side quest.
So I have to go use Heatman one more time and get another wonderful soul weapon segment coming up. This one's a bit more challenging than the previous. The first area is kind of lenient, you'll end up with a lot of extra soul weapons, but the second one we finished with only 1 to spare, so we're a lot tougher.
Yeah, so the reason why we can't use Elecman again, we have to go back to Heatman, is just because of how the areas line up. We need to do a lot of back and forth within the school. So because we're actually doing stuff in the real world in the school, we just want to be able to quickly switch between Heatman and the real world, as well as the underground area is in Central 3, and it's just very quick to get to Central 3 from where you get in with Heatman.
Yeah, before we can actually access the underground, you talk to this guy and says that the mayor of Central Town, who is also the principal of Central Town Academy, I guess one job wasn't enough, is the only one that has permission to enter the area. So you have to go talk to the principal. Unfortunately, there's a security bot in the way, so we need someone to create a diversion.
Yeah, and because of all this jazz, like, we're gonna need to go back into the computer, and it just wouldn't make sense to keep taking the love bus back to the sky.
Heatman's cooler anyway.
I beg to differ, but everyone can have their own opinion.
And this is actually another plot twist, is that the mayor is actually working with a former World 3 operative. So the mayor is also evil, who's your principal, and
Yeah, the guy we just saw was the guy we testified against and got arrested in green earlier.
Basically, don't
Black
trust
beard.
authority figures.
all the adults are either incompetent or evil, is what I'm learning from
Yeah,
this.
so that's the lesson. Just only trust 10-year-olds.
To be fair, Lan is the world's #1 net battler, according to the tournament being 4.
I thought that was Dex.
How many times is that now?
Too many. But we can access the underground now, so we can do the soul weapon segment. It's kind of cool. It's like you actually jump down, and then Heatman just gets smaller and smaller and disappears.
That's actually a really good cutscene, by the way. It looks so silly watching He-Man get smaller.
Yeah, but the first area is pretty straightforward, so Ghost, if there's anything you want to say.
All right. Let's see. Just a reminder to everyone that so we are RPG Limit Break, and we are in support of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI. So all your donations are going straight to their cause, which is a charity focusing on bettering the lives of those with mental illness through the use of education, advocacy, and research, and aims to raise awareness on mental health issues and help out those in need. So thank you, everybody, for your very generous donations.
Yeah, so this is basically the final time we'll see soul weapons coming up in the next area. And we're also going to see 2 really cool bosses back to back right at the end of the next room of Soul Weapons, which will be Mega Man in his Beast Out form called G-Beast, and we will also see Colonel, who is the NetNavi version of the character from Mega Man X4.
Yeah, those 2 fights are actually really cool. GBs can be kind of annoying because he won't always let you counter hit him. But otherwise, it's a fun fight. And then Colonel, because of a potential AI loop that we might be able to get him into, this split's actually really nice.
Oh, dude, I got thrown off. My sneak run finally wore off.
Oh, yeah.
Oops. Yeah, you put on the sneak run just so you can get through Central and Counter Freak. You don't have enough HP to sneak run in the Underground.
Yep. Fortunately, though, because of the Soul Weapon segments, you don't get any encounters here.
Yep. And we will be slipping through these areas later on as Mega Man to get to the Count of Ground Soaking Blood. But encounters are... they're not super common, but they can happen. It's not that bad, though.
I do like how this second area worked out.
Yeah, it's really clean with the weapons, minimal backtracking, just everything lines up super well.
Yeah, the solutions seem pretty clever.
Yep, so we're right at the tail end of Soul Weapons, and we're going to be approaching G-Beast and Colonel. G-Beast, I guess I should just kind of briefly describe him now. It's kind of going to be not nearly as bad, but it's going to be a slight repeat of the Dive Man scenario, where I can either choose to guarantee I get damage on him with a chip, that's decent, but if I really want to go fast, then I sort of have to just guess and try to counter hit him, it's random if he'll do 2 slashes, and I need him to do 2 slashes for me to counter him. And if he doesn't do 2 slashes and I try to counter him, I miss my chip entirely, but let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. He's actually got a pretty reasonable pattern. He will move 6 times and then go for a swipe, and after 3 swipes...
That was a little early, but that's kind of the idea. We need him to do that second swipe for us to counter him. Fortunately, Heatman has a thing equipped called Float Shoes, which let us go over the cracked panels.
Yeah.
Whoops.
After 3 swipes, he'll do an electric attack, and he can do that from anywhere.
Fucking
he won't aim
dude.
on you.
I need to be really
nice.
fucking careful because I didn't save. Holy shit.
You did save. It's fine.
Wait, I did?
Yeah, but just...
I just got terrified right there. I thought I didn't
Oh, you
save.
paralyzed. Okay. Well, this is fine. GBs can be pretty trolly. And again, like, if things start to go wrong, they go really wrong.
Pretty trolly is definitely an understatement.
Nice. Okay. Counter hits are always good.
Okay, so he's gonna do the Elec at this time, and I want to get him onto this because he takes the extra damage. And boom, he's dead. Okay, that was really scary because that's one of the encounters where when things go wrong, they go wrong very quickly, and it is extremely easy to die on GBs. He's one of the more dangerous fights. Like, he's not that hard, but it's one of the things where when you mess it up, there's a good chance you die.
And that's the AI loop. See if you can go to kill so far. Nice, that was a really good
Yeah,
Gavel
so
fight.
excuse my language on that G-Beast. I just got terrified because I thought I didn't save.
Didn't matter, you got it.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah, but those fights are actually pretty fun in the round.
Yeah,
Especially
G-Beast
when
is
they go
really
well.
fun because we're like, Dive Man is just kind of annoying if you miss him when he counters. You need to just be like on your tiptoes for G-Beast because Dive Man can't kill you, but yeah, G-Beast can kill you if he wants to.
Real quick here, we got a $50 donation from Puexel saying, "Might promise $10 for each retry or rewind in a half-minute hero."
Sorry for the language, Flexel. My bad. Oh wait, what am I doing? Dang.
One scenario ahead. So we're going back to ACDC Town to, one, get the shortcut. So this is where we need to go to Undernet 2 to check BBS, and we'll also be advancing part of the...
First, though, I will be going back to the underground. I'm just getting the BBS, or not Undernet, I can't speak. I'm getting the banner for this, and then I'll be going back to underground so I can see the count for the first time, and I'll just let the side quest play out as it happens. But yes, right now I'm going back to the underground, because in the underground, which is a door to take us to the immortal area where the count is located. And to open that door, we needed the bat key, which is what base drops in the Japanese version.
You know, this isn't relevant to any percent, but if you're doing this side quest, it might actually be worth it to get the rush food, because then you can take advantage of the shortcuts 3 times instead of 2.
Oh, possibly. That's an idea. Yeah, the extra stuff in this donation system hasn't been extensively routed, but just enough to make it consistent and decently fast. So there's definitely optimizations to be had in the ordering and strats, such as shortcuts with rush food.
Marathon percent.
Yeah, but here we are going into the immortal area.
That's where you need the back key, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so that was the door.
That's a back key door.
So this is the immortal area, which is something that's JP exclusive, and we're gonna go to the back and get a random encounter.
I love random encounters.
Me too. That's why I get them all the time. So these guys are actually pretty annoying. I think this is the first time we've seen the Assassin
dang.
Blade. And he sends out a stunning projectile, and then if you get hit by that, will jump towards you and slash.
That's fine.
Do you
And
need
this
to-
is one of the reasons why I buy the full energy.
Oh, okay, I was gonna ask, yeah.
Look, he's not too dangerous, but safe strats are nice, especially in marathons. So here we go with the count. Basically, he has been teleported into this internet dimension through a trans-dimensional portal, and, well, we gotta stop him from gaining enough power to come into the real world and suck people's blood or something.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly the story since it's JP exclusive. I think it has been like fan translated.
Yes, there is a very good fan translation, so if anybody's interested in playing them for themselves, they can get the ROM and the patch.
Cool. But something along the lines of the Count used his immortal powers to open a rift to a different realm because he was tired of Django beating up on him, so he wanted to find a new world that he could take people out in.
Yeah, but fortunately he's like too much power of darkness now. But some of that's gonna get removed when he gets run over by a freaking motorcycle.
Entrance with style.
Yeah, but right now we need to help Django restore his power so we can weaken the Count and actually deal damage to him this time. So we need to rescue his partner, Otenko. I believe it was Doc donated for this earlier,
Yeah.
so we could explain Otenko. He is a sunflower with the power of the sun infused in him. And I'm going the wrong way.
Oh, good.
But yeah.
4, 5, and 6 all have crossover with Boktai.
Yes, but this is the only one where you actually fight the Count.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Battle Network 4 was crossover with Django 1, 5 with Django 2, 6 with 3.
Area, you can see that Fire Sword has an area grab, which is an incredibly annoying chip because of that. If I had released my Buster Charge as he was using it, it just would have eaten my Buster Charge and nothing would have happened. So you just need to make sure to hold on to that for a little bit extra.
And this is the under BBS rush, where basically you have to fight a series of these undernet navies. And the first Matar's got Recup 150, which is kind of annoying. This is a slow fight, like, in general.
So you don't have enough. We were actually looking at strats earlier, and we thought that a potential
Oh,
strat...
triple. Nice.
Boom.
So that worked out.
Yeah. we thought a potential strat might be to copy damage and get 2 of the heat crosses. That's just probably the worst set counter in the entire game. It's really, really awkward and hard to do fast.
This one's kind of nice.
Yeah, this one is good.
The armadillos will move forward, and then you can... Oh, it's interesting. I don't even use copy damage. You like move up and then down, and then down and then up.
I just like doing that because that we mentioned those guys earlier, but they're actually one of the deadlier viruses you can encounter, so I just don't even want to mess with them.
This is another really bad encounter without
Yeah.
a let cross.
But with the let cross, it's better, but it's still awful.
Because of the pulse bulb.
Yeah.
Not bad, though. But yeah, if you can read the text that they say, it's funny. It's like no one told them to stop Mega Man or anything. They just don't like you, so they're trying to stop you.
This is not the ideal chip. I will need to buster these bees a couple times.
See
but-
Risky Honey?
Dude, Risky Honey is
Oh, it's
legit
so
the best
scary.
chip in this
Okay.
game. Oh, dude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you
Yo.
go. Okay.
The kettles self-destruct when you deal enough damage to them, and other enemies can get caught in the crossfire.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, so typically if I was running any percent, all I would would be running to the Undernet BBS and finding out that there's like a murder going on in Skytown. But since I'm doing the Boktai side quest, I'm going to read the Undernet BBS and then I'm going to go rescue Otenko and take him back to Django, and I can fight the Count for real.
Yep. We read it on the internet. It must be true. This is pretty nasty random encounter.
That's pretty good.
Starfish is annoying just because of the bubbles. They're hard to deal with.
Whoops.
You trying to scare him? Go away.
Firing some warning shots. Yeah, so just a bit of extra movement here. It's not bad. I will get extra random encounters, but they go by pretty fast. Especially since Elect Cross helps on some. No, I don't want it. I thought about taking Elect Cross here, but I'd rather just have the additional damage on this.
Well, they're on ice.
Does that make a difference?
Oh, I think it does double damage.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
Nope.
Dang. So that wasn't in 6?
Nope.
I guess not.
But the main thing I wanted to do was just kill the eye as fast as possible so he didn't actually have a time to stun me.
And that was asking how many candles were in a particular spot, right?
Yep. How many
Hey,
candles were in
it's
Undernet
Otenko.
too?
That's Otenko. And now he's going to go help Django so we can go back and we're going to do that right now.
Yep. And then we will be finished with the Boktai side quest and we can press on with the main story.
Yeah, you got to go fight the Count for real.
So one more trip to the underground.
So we got a couple quick more donations to go if you'd like to have
Yeah, go
good
for
time.
it.
All right. We got $30 from Corn Dog saying, I should be sleeping, but I'm having too much fun watching. Putting my money towards Puexel being Maria for the Final Fantasy VI opera. That's going to be interesting. $10 from Lunar Dragoon. Good morning. I blame you guys for me getting no sleep. I stayed up last night past midnight watching you guys, but then I woke up to catch Final Fantasy V. It's 6:40 a.m. where I am right now. Luckily, Final Fantasy and charity are my two favorite things in the whole world. Thank you very much for your generous donations. Want to go ahead and give a quick thank you to everyone viewing, as we're about 5,000 viewers right now. Everyone hosting, and the over 5,000 people who have followed the stream since we started this marathon a couple days ago. Thanks to everyone for sharing, getting the word out for social media. such as Twitter. If you want to share the stream on Twitter, just go ahead and make a tweet with hashtag RPGLB2016.
That was a really bad random encounter. Pulse
Yeah.
bulbs are just... You never want to see pulse bulbs ever. Yeah, so
Alright.
here we go. This is the real deal. Django finally has the power of the sun back, and he has weakened the count enough that we can do some mad damage to him. So this fight is similar to base in a lot of ways in that I want to stagger him before he uses his attacks. He's not as threatening as base, but it's a little odd to go fast on this boss fight. It is a fun boss fight though, especially in a speedrun setting.
That attack's annoying. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a fun boss, but like I said, here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is Cross Beast, and you're about to see some serious damage if he moves into a good panel.
So all of the beasts have like a breath attack, and Elect Beast will like crack the panels, and also your B button turns into a Gatling gun. And you can charge up non-elemental chips to do additional damage.
And the counter to kill.
Swag. Okay.
Oh man. Tayo!
Tayo!
And there we go, that's the count, and we also get his chip.
Nice.
So we defeat him and take his soul in the form of a chip.
Cool. You gonna put that in the folder?
Heck yeah, I am. Let's draw it on Gregory.
It's a pretty cool chip. Just one. Sword. Yeah, I don't need those.
Yeah, I don't have a long sword anyway, so I can't PA anything. Oh, I already did everything. Whoops.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, like I said, with the donation incentive stuff, this is not normally something we do in any percent, so it messes up with the route a little bit, but it's fun, so.
Which is particularly confusing because,
It's
as
all
I
good.
mentioned before, Battle Network, you're going over the same areas over and over and over, so unless you're paying like, serious attention, you get very confused very easily. So heading in on the fly, new parts of the route, it's not a good time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. We
Yeah,
forgot
the
about
L
the L
strats.
button strats. You see, this game is very speedrun friendly, and if you ever forget the route, you can hit the L button, and just speedrun strats are built in.
It's very true.
Do you think it's kind of nice how the game will give you like a hint in case you get stuck when you press the L button though?
Dude, it's not even a hint. It's telling you to speedrun. You just go exactly where it says, and you win.
Yeah, it's very true actually. There were instances throughout the series where the L button hints will tell you more than what the story did.
And then there's times where it's like, Land, don't you remember? Do the thing.
Lan, did you know Mega Man can charge up his Mega Buster? Yeah, so now we're just inviting everybody, like all of our friends, to come to the Pavilion Comp. Or not Pavilion Comp, but just hang out at the Pavilion, the opening of the expo. And I'm going to do a cool glitch here that is frame perfect, so I might...
Cooperate, Proto Man. Don't just stand there.
There we go.
Nice. So this is perfectly normal. Nothing weird is going on here. If you slip run and interact with something on the same frame, you get stuck in the slip run animation. In this state, you actually can't like open a menu or do various other things. You can still interact with stuff, so you can go talk to all of the people. But while you're slip running, you don't get into any encounter checks. You can actually go all the way.
I
What?
I slammed
He
into
hit
the
the
wall.
corner.
Yeah.
Oh, he hit the corner.
But whenever you hit the B button again or touch anything, you exit the slip run state and immediately get one encounter check. So it is possible to get an encounter. At
Yeah,
the
and
end.
normally you will get an encounter as you end your split run, because like Tara mentioned earlier, you can't jack out or do anything while you are in slip run glitch. So usually as you exit slip run glitch to talk to glide.
So the duck is getting in your way. Okay.
Dude, I just got infinited by that duck. It's the chicken infinite. It's Mega Man X3 all over again.
Oh, that's it. So now we can begin the final day where we go meet everyone at the the preview of the expo.
Oh, first we got to say bye to Mom, though.
Talk to Mom.
We need to let her know where we're going. We're responsible children.
So,
Responsible 10-year-olds saving the world for the 6th time.
God, my eyes are
yeah,
like
it depends on
burning
if
right
you count
now.
the side games or not.
Man, I've been up for like way too long, for like 30 hours or something, and my eyes are just like finally starting to die. They're like on fire right now and watering like crazy.
You're almost done.
Then I got Legend of Mana to go.
They just can't watch all this speed happening.
This is
It's
this
too
is awful.
fast.
Dude, I'm dying in the middle of my speed run. In real life.
It's okay. I'll give you a break once you get to Pavilion 2. You're
That-
going... No, continue.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, all that's happening right now is you're going to each of the different exhibits, which represent a different part of Central Town, and collecting stamps. And once you get them all, you enter the final pavilion, and plus stuff happens, bad things happen, and now all of a sudden, you're going to be back at the school with a bunch of knocked out hill navies.
Real quick, we have one last donation, or one more donation. God, more. Put this towards naming Bart's
Sarah, can you
War
like, play
Mech.
for a second? Holy
Yeah.
moly.
We will have War Mech.
So I was like, no, I found them like that. It's fine. Hold on. I forgot what select was. Plum uses an interesting controller configuration.
I have select on L and R, and I use Y and X to do the actual L and R inputs. Just easier for me because I claw grip my controller, so I have my index finger on B and my middle finger on A when I'm playing.
Yeah, so we go to the principal's office, and you can see there's one book
Thank you.
out of place, and it opens up a secret shortcut into the back of the expo, because the mayor slash principal slash benefactor for the World 3 used to use that to go between the World 3's office, which was the expo. Yes.
And then one thing that should also be noted, how we saw a slip run glitch previously. In the Japanese version of this game, slip run glitch soft locks if you do it off of mystery data, which means in the English version of this game, you would be slip run glitching off of a GMD, I believe, or it might be a BMD. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't do that on the Japanese version because it soft locks. So I'm forced to actually play through this whole thing, which means I can get random encounters. Fortunately, though, this is one other spot where a let cross will come in handy since I need to do these fights.
Yep. And the flip side is, since you're not slip walking, you do get to actually slip run. You could just boomerang.
You are 100% correct.
Nice. That bubble was like this close. I hate starfish.
Dude, I was playing with fire right there.
It was electric, actually. Oh, that shark almost got you. Like, that blue shark in particular, they're supposed to, like, behave approximately the same. Oh, nice. I always go around.
If you don't mess up your movement at all, you can go above, and it's slightly faster to go above.
For sure.
But if you get caught on a wall or something, you have to go below.
Yeah. But the blue shark sometimes will be really aggressive, and if you're slipwalking, you actually can't get out fast enough to avoid him. So he ends up just like hovering outside the one exit you have, and you're like, that's another potential risk of.
Can you? Thanks.
That's interesting. Each of the sorties in this game behave very differently. Like the red one moves around normally, but moves quickly, and then the blue one just sort of like randomly teleports.
Also, where we've been previously placing marine life in tanks, this one's a pretty interesting prog.
blue sharks there. So watch the tank.
So that's my favorite marine creature, businessman.
Oh my god, I forgot about that one.
The aquarium director. You want me to do the thing?
Yeah. Basically, what Tara's going to attempt to do now is he will basically how the gavel, you can step on the grass, and when the gavel is chasing you, you don't get random encounters. He is going to abuse that in addition to the save first, please. Tara's going to try and abuse the slip run glitch to well, not slip run glitch, but just slip run to outrun the gavel and get all the way to Judge Man refight without once getting an encounter.
Dude, this controller. That's my excuse. You can
That's a
skip the
valid
cutscene.
excuse.
Yeah, so we'll give it a couple tries because
As
we've
a
got a
warm-up.
little. Yeah, we've got time. So this is a really cool glitch. It's extremely hard though, and it doesn't save that much time, and you need to get it first try to really save time with it. If you get it second try quickly, it'll break even, but yeah, it's pretty scary because of how the walls will like catch you on the corners. Ooh.
Oh, this is
Oh.
funny.
Oh.
Nice.
That's my
right.
contribution.
Good job, Tara.
Second try.
That's a really hard trick, though, and Tara just second try is still really good. So he basically broke even with not doing it.
And even if it was second try, he for the first one in the very first corner, so
It was like a really early failure.
Why do we gotta show that off? I gotta walk on all the grass.
Dude, just you're a rule breaker.
And then Judge Man hasn't changed much since the last time we've seen him. Got a little more health, but that's about it.
Yeah, now this is where the game gets fun because some of the random encounters you
Ah.
can start getting here are really epic.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain nightmares, Tara?
So, oh, I never thought about hitting the prog there. I thought you just slipped all the way across. Well done. Touche.
Thanks.
So, starting I think with Battle Network 2, they introduced an enemy called the Shadow, and he shows up in a few of the Battle Networks. And this game is called the Nightmare, and the only way to damage it is with swords, which Plum still has quite a few swords in the folder, but whether or not you draw one is a different story. Our chance to run from these fights is like 25%, because even though we've got 1,060 health, and your ability to run is based off of your HP, but it's your base max HP without any Navitas pluses, which is like 140 or 160 right now. And so if we get into an encounter with one, we really hope to draw a longsword, because the only way to damage it is with a sword, and they've got 100 health, so you'd need either a longsword, which actually we don't
I
have
have
in
none.
the folder. So he would
I'm
need
just
2
always
swords.
going to run if I get
Yeah.
one right now.
And the best thing to do is run, because successive run attempts do have an increased chance of success. Hopefully, though, we just won't see one, because there's a 25% chance that an encounter will contain a shadow or nightmare.
Yeah, so if you had trouble with nightmares in Mega Man X6 casually, these are like 50 times worse.
Ooh. I should start doing that. I do something completely
Oh,
different.
dang.
I like that frog.
Dude, I got the unknown speed strats apparently. Oh, Hakushaku.
Oh, nice. So this is Hackjack, right?
Yeah, Hackjack in the English version, or Hakushaku, which is the Count's Japanese name in the
It's a pretty
localization.
cool chip.
Yeah.
Especially with multiple enemies in the field. But again, this is Elephant Man. He's got more health than he does last time, and he attacks a little faster, but he still does grass first. So nice, and you got him for a change. So
And I
that's a
got
good
to show off
Elephant Man.
Hackjack,
Yeah, that was like ideal.
which is funny because instead of properly localizing his name to the Count, which it is in Boktai,
Yeah. You tell because it's like H-coded.
it's fun stuff. And if I draw that chip on Gregor, that actually does a significant amount of damage to him because of how Gregor takes damage.
yeah.
All right, and Plum does this comp incorrectly, but that's okay.
Okay, well, there are 2 ways to do this comp, and one is the way Terra does, which is in a different order. But the way Terra does it, it's faster, assuming you don't get an encounter, but every time I've ever done it, I've gotten a random encounter there. so I don't even attempt it, and I do the slightly slower strat, which I've only ever gotten a random encounter here once before.
Dude, nice boomer.
Boomer is a good ship, by the way. I'm not sure if you could tell.
Yeah, but taking advantage of the fire particles as well as slip running, you can actually get out of here, ideally with no encounters, because when the fire ends, it resets your step counter to what the last check value was, and since you slip and you don't get an encounter check until you hit a wall, if you hit a wall while that animation's on the screen, oh, and you drew it again. Nice.
Dude, I love this ship.
That's so good. I wonder...
Is it going to hit the one on the ground? It does.
Oh, dude.
Yo!
They almost got owned.
That's a pretty annoying fight because anything with the assassin sword guy where he can just stun you. And Method actually softlocked on that fight once by using a black bomb. It's not been replicated, but it was pretty funny when it happened.
This is the second time I've ever gotten this random encounter. I was
a
on
pretty bad one too.
I was on pace to PB like a couple days ago by like freaking a ton, and then I just got this awful random encounter that I've never gotten before, and this is only the second time I've ever gotten it. And I've run this game quite a bit. It would happen in a marathon. That's okay. Yeah, Taro is correct. I am doing this comp incorrectly. The only reason I do the slower strat to begin with is specifically because I forgot to take these.
No, I'll go. Just move down. Or yeah, okay.
Oh.
All good.
Yeah. So we're almost done.
Yeah, we're really close.
All that's left is Circus Man.
Circus Man, and then the final boss.
Oh, Boomer.
Yeah, so you can draw this on most of the boss fights in this game, and it is fun when you do.
Circus Man approves. Nice, he didn't even do his 10 attack.
Clap for myself.
A Circus Man is.
We're
Dude, I
clapping
just
for his valiant effort to defeat you.
I outskilled Circus Man by just drawing him Boomer.
So now is the final series of cutscenes, which we're going to skip, and then a walk up to the final boss, Gregor, which is a pretty cool boss fight. Curious to see how it goes. And this is another place where Electros comes in handy because the neat thing about Gregor that you take advantage of is he actually has 2 hitboxes. So anything that multi-hits, like the Electros's charge shot or sometimes the Heat Cross's charge shot, you can basically hit him twice with one Buster Shot, as well as like Mega Boomer or anything else that covers the field. Mega Boomer and Element Trap.
Also, get ready on time. This goes fast.
Yeah. But he hops around, knocking the stuff down, and then he can do one of 2 attacks. Either an electric charge, which unfortunately can't really damage those 3 because it stuns you, and...
This is the worst luck he can give you is doing the Elect Breath, because since it paralyzes you, this is really bad Gregor luck.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. And then he'll do this attack where you get a couple shots in. But the other thing he can do, which hopefully he'll do next, is a Fire Breath.
This is a really, really bad Gregor.
Okay. And I was going to do the swipe.
Oh.
Which actually takes some of your chips.
Dude, Gregor's being a really bad dog right now.
And then you can get an extra shot off on this one.
Dude, frickin' Gregory. Not a fan of this memer.
One more shot.
Time.
Yeah.
I think that was good. Especially with the Boktai stuff.
It's like a little over 10 minutes in the Boktai stuff, so solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Now the credits are going to play out, and then there's an epic log, but we can sort of skip that. Do you want to do any like final shout-outs or anything?
No, I guess. Hey, PX. Hey, Alta.
Shout-outs to Doisum over there.
Oh, wait. Yo, I thought Dorsum was going to be on the couch.
He showed up late.
Oh, well, Dorsum, get on camera. Come over here. Dorsum's like hippie and old boy. He's pretty cool. There you go. So everyone say hi to Doisum.
Hello,
Hi, Doisum.
Hi, Doisum.
All right, well, yeah, thanks for watching Battle Network 6. Cool game. Thanks for donating. Hope you enjoyed like the
I
Boktai
just want
stuff.
to say shout-outs to Team BN.
Oh, yes.
People in the Team BN community.
Yeah, there's a big community of Battle Network runners called Team Battle Network. You can find them just through searching either Team BN or Team Battle Network on Twitch. Basically, it's just pretty much anyone who does RTA attempts of the Battle Network games is in there, and we're always welcoming new people. So if you ever want to learn a Battle Network game, just reach out to anyone in the community. Me, Terra Gamer, like Doisum. Yeah, just if you want notes on the game, need tips, just
I got
hit us
notes.
up. So
We
hopefully,
have plenty of notes.
hopefully people want to run Battle Network games. So yeah, thanks for
But,
watching.
Battle Network is my favorite series, so I want to say if the combat system looked interesting, you do at least give it a try, and if you do want to learn it, as Plum said, we're more than willing to help. We got a Discord and all that stuff.
Also to note, we do include Star Force in Team BN,
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
have an entire community for that as well within our own.
Because Star Force 3 is the best Mega Man game.
Star Force 3 is good.
All right, yeah. So enjoy the rest of Limit Break. Hope you guys liked it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Plum, for that wonderful Battle Network 6 run. All right, so real quick, we are going to go into an ad break, but stay right here because we have Final Fantasy V run by Big Fong Balls immediately afterwards. So don't go anywhere.
Dude, that was scary. Oh, dude, I legitimately thought I like if GB's as soon as GB's does half my health, I like go into full panic. All right, well, that was fun. That went better than I expected. I probably would have been like a.
You only had one death, sort of, and that was on the.
Oh wait, even with that death, that would have been like a 26 or 27. So, yeah, pretty decent. You waste a lot of time jacking in and jacking out and doing all that extra crap. Whatever. Come on, I'm pretty happy with that. How are you not dead? I don't know, but I still need to do Legend of Mana in like 2 hours. More than 2 hours.
Are you
No, I'm co-oping it. Oh. Yeah, that's why I want the dragon route to be done. So all my donations are going towards that. Yeah, that's fine. We kept like commentary busy during that. So.
There's a lot of times where I didn't say it's like because it was walking and I'm waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. So I just like kind of tried to bring up like something random at one point. Like it went pretty well.
What's the next one?
Final Fantasy V.
Do we have our stuff? The runner here? Console here?
Yeah, piano flexing. I have Chemist Galif. Bartz is a blue mage, being the same level as himself. Ferris is a samurai with power bribery. Thief Lena and White Mage Krill. I don't know if this is ever used in game, but it's just too cute to not have. And the gigantic.
Flashcard.